Chapter 2366. With a roar, the sky changed color and the earth shook. A terrifying killing intent spread from the front. Lu Ming, Emperor Notionless, Huntian Emperor, and Skyfire Emperor's expressions changed drastically. That was because the roar was so terrifying that it made people's hair stand on end. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. Following that, Lu Ming and the rest saw streaks of rainbow light flying over at high speed from the distant sky. They were all flying over from the depths of the Void God Island. There was an expert in each of the rainbow lights. Each of them was very terrifying, and none of them was weaker than Lan Kong. This meant that these people were all advanced great emperors. Some of them had extremely terrifying auras, which made Lu Ming feel apprehensive. Peak Emperor. Lu Ming could tell that a few of them had already reached the Peak Emperor realm. There were Heaven Realm beings and Evil God Race beings among them. But now, these people seemed to have encountered something terrifying and were fleeing at high speed. Another roar came from the depths of the island. Then, a huge creature appeared in the sky. A giant white tiger stood on the ground. Its back was taller than the mountains. With a roar, the mountains exploded. Even though they were far away, Lu Ming and the others could feel a terrifying pressure coming from it. Could it be the white tiger, one of the legendary divine beasts of the Four Directions? Emperor Formless cried out in alarm. What? The divine beasts of the Four Directions. The expressions of Lu Ming and the rest changed drastically. The four divine beasts, the four legendary divine beasts, the azure dragon, the vermilion bird, the white tiger, and the black tortoise. It was said that the four divine beasts were very ancient divine beasts in the heaven realm. They were extremely powerful and were no weaker than the top 10 battle beasts. They were on the same level as the top 10 battle beasts. There were legends of the divine beasts of the Four Directions everywhere. There were even divine beasts of the Four Directions that appeared, but those weren't the four of them in the legends. They only had the bloodline of the four divine beasts. Now, could it be that one had really appeared? Impossible. The true divine beasts of the Four Directions aren't any weaker than the top 10 battle beasts. Although this one is powerful, it's not that powerful. Lu Ming's expression changed. The white tiger's roar was like thunder. Its four limbs stomped on the ground, causing mountains to collapse and rocks to shake the sky. Its huge body rushed towards the fleeing experts. Its eyes turned silver, and two silver sword lights slashed out. A shrill scream was heard. An existence that was at least a 5-star great emperor was killed by the two sword lights in the air. He couldn't resist at all. Let's go! Lu Ming roared, turned around, and ran away with Emperor Wu Xiang and the rest. However, the people behind them, as well as the white tiger, were astonishingly fast. The distance between them was constantly closing. How unlucky! Lu Ming, Emperor Notionless, and the other two sighed in their hearts. They had just escaped from the formation, and they had already encountered such a terrifying white tiger. They were truly too unlucky. We don't want to go in the same direction as those people. Emperor Formless called out. There must be a reason why the white tiger was chasing those people. They immediately changed their direction and rushed to the side. It was risky to do so. Once the white tiger set its eyes on them, it would be easier for it to catch up to them. However, they had no other choice now. With their strength, they couldn't outrun the 5-star great emperors, 6-star great emperors, and even peak great emperors. If he continued to run and was caught by the white tiger, he would probably be killed with a single slap. They could only take the risk. They had made the right bet. The white tiger let out a long roar and did not target them. Instead, it was chasing after the few strongest experts. Lu Ming and the rest did not stop. They ran for a distance before they stopped. At this moment, the white tiger had already run far away while chasing the others. It seems that the white tiger has its eyes on the strongest people. I guess those people have offended the white tiger. Huntian Emperor speculated. I didn't expect that there would be such a terrifying white tiger on this island. This white tiger's strength is definitely above the great emperor realm. Could it be an existence of the heavenly emperor realm? Emperor Wu Xiang said. Their expressions were grave. Heavenly emperors could not enter the island. If the white tiger was really at the heavenly emperor stage, It would be terrifying and invincible. Immediately, they left the place and headed into the distance, wanting to get as far away from the white tiger as possible. However, a few hours later, their expressions changed drastically. That was because a shrill cry came from ahead. It was extremely sharp and pierced through time and space. A large group of people ran for their lives. Some were from the heaven realm, and some were from the evil god race. And behind these people, a huge phoenix spread its wings and chased after them. Vermilion bird. Lu Ming and the other three looked at each other, their voices hoarse. First, he saw the white tiger, and now he saw the vermilion bird. Could it be that the four divine beasts had all appeared? Let's go! Without any hesitation, the four of them turned around and ran. This time, they were experienced and ran in the other direction. As expected, the vermilion bird was specifically targeting the strongest group. Not long after, they successfully escaped. The white tiger and the vermilion bird have both appeared. What's happening in the depths of the island? Lu Ming and the other three were full of doubts. Next, they found a hidden place to hide. For the next few days, they would hear terrifying roars from time to time. It was only after a few days that the roars disappeared. At this moment, they came out of their hiding place and met some experts. Many of them were advanced great emperors. They asked the other party, and as expected, they knew a lot. In the past few years, the great emperor of the heaven realm and the great emperor of the evil god tribe had been wandering around the void god island, killing and searching for treasures. Even though the void god island was huge, it had been almost completely searched over the past few years. Some time ago, everyone had discovered a hidden place. That place was suspected to be the core of the void god island, and it was very likely to be the place where the master of the void god island would truly preach his Tao. This discovery was amazing. The master of the void god island was a figure who should have surpassed the heavenly emperor. If this was really the place where he taught Tao, he would probably have an incredible opportunity. Many powerhouses gathered and planned to enter the place to explore. However, there were 4 terrifying divine beasts guarding the place, which were exactly the same as the legendary divine beasts of the 4 directions. However, their combat strength was not as strong as the 4 legendary divine beasts. They should have barely reached the heavenly emperor realm. Even if they managed to reach the heavenly emperor realm, they were not something that a great emperor could fight against. The 4 divine beasts went on a rampage, causing a large number of experts from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe to fall. The remaining people were chased around by the 4 divine beasts. This was the reason why Lu Ming and the rest had encountered that scene earlier. Right now, the 4 divine beasts are roaming in the depths of the island. All the experts have retreated to the depths of the island. They don't dare to go in anymore, or it'll be extremely dangerous. A high-level great emperor sighed. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Originally, after his battle prowess had improved greatly, he had planned to go to the Void God Island to try his luck. It seemed like he could only cancel this plan and stay in the outer region of the Void God Island. There must be some opportunities in that core area. Right now, there are many experts hiding in the outer regions of the Void God Island, waiting for an opportunity to strike. The expert left another sentence and then left. Chapter 2367. Lu Ming could only give up on the idea of entering the Void God Island. They found a hidden place and hid, planning to cultivate in peace here. To Lu Ming, who was at his current stage, it was a great opportunity for him to comprehend the laws here. It could save him a lot of time. Even if he could not get any other opportunities, Lu Ming was satisfied. Lu Ming was comprehending the laws in peace, while Emperor Formless and the others were focused on refining the fragments of the Great Tao, hoping to take a step further and become 3-star Great Emperors. Time passed day by day. During this period, Emperor Formless, Huntian, and Skyfire Emperor would take turns to go out and gather information and investigate the current situation. Right now, on the island, whether it was the Heaven Realm beings or the foreign race experts, they were all like them. They had all hidden themselves and did not dare to move. That was because there were 4 terrifying godly beasts in the depths of the island. 2 of them were guarding the core area, while the other 2 were wandering around. Once they discovered any living being from the heaven realm or the evil god race, they would immediately start a massacre. Therefore, it was impossible for those powerhouses to have any ideas about the core area. As for Lu Ming, he cultivated in peace and did not care about anything else. To Lu Ming, the Void Island was more useful than any cultivation sanctuary. Where else could he find such a good cultivation sanctuary after leaving the Void Island? However, there was one thing that Lu Ming would not forget. That was the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Previously, in the giant tower, Lu Ming had killed a large number of evil god tribe members. There were 50 to 60 of them. The evil god race's storage rings were all in his hands. These evil god race members were all Emperor realm figures. There were large amounts of black crystals in their storage rings. Furthermore, they were of extremely high quality and contained powerful energy. Although it was difficult for the beings in the heaven realm to absorb these crystals, the Celestial Emperor's body could absorb and store energy. Lu Ming diverted some of his attention to control the Celestial Thearch's physical body to absorb the energy of these crystals and store them. Just like that, time flew by. Spring went and autumn came. 5 years had passed in the blink of an eye. This could be said to be the longest closed-door cultivation Lu Ming had ever done since he started cultivating. Lu Ming had gained a lot from this closed-door cultivation. Lu Ming had cultivated the Eternal Law, the Void Law, and the Space-Time Law to the 3rd level. However, the remaining 2 of the top 10 laws, the Law of Fate and the Law of Cause and Effect, were very difficult to cultivate. The Law of Fate was extremely mysterious and difficult to grasp. Lu Ming had tried a few times but could not get a grasp of it. As for the laws of cause and effect, normally only people from the Buddhist faction could comprehend it. Buddhism emphasized the cycle of karma. Without that state of mind, it was very difficult to comprehend. However, Lu Ming had already cultivated the 8 types of ultimate laws to the 3rd realm. His comprehension of the laws had reached an astonishing level. With his amazing comprehension, Lu Ming had managed to gain a basic understanding of the laws of karma. Not only that, but Lu Ming had also comprehended other king path laws in the past 5 years. For example, Lu Ming had cultivated a total of 3 laws to the 3rd level, including the Law of Eternal Flame, the Law of Vajra, and the Law of Kings, which were required to cultivate the indestructible ancient scroll. Furthermore, Lu Ming had spent a lot of time to merge these laws and develop them into a divine power. In 5 years, not only had he comprehended 3 strongest nomological laws and 3 king path nomological laws to the 3rd realm, but he had also managed to turn them into divine powers. This was definitely impossible in the outside world. It would probably take more than 100 years. But here he had done it in 5 years. Now, Lu Ming already had 17 types of laws and had reached the 3rd realm. The power of the 17 types of laws fused together was shocking. However, there was not much improvement in Lu Ming's combat strength. The main thing was that Lu Ming's current physical realm was too high. He could suppress a 4-star Great Emperor with his physical body alone. In the Great Emperor realm, the further one advanced, the stronger one was, and the greater the gap between them. However, nomological laws were just nomological laws. They couldn't be compared to the Great Tao, no matter how many nomological laws there were. Lu Ming might be able to rely on a large number of laws to challenge 1-star Great Emperors or even 2-star Great Emperors. However, it would be very difficult to challenge them with laws alone as he advanced. Unless Lu Ming could use these laws to break through to the Great Emperor realm and evolve them into Great Taos, the power would increase dramatically. However, Lu Ming had no intention of breaking through to the Great Emperor realm now. At the very least, he wanted to cultivate all 10 of his ultimate maxims to the 3rd realm. He could even cultivate even more of his King Path laws to the 3rd realm. When he broke into the Great Emperor realm, his Great Tao would be shocking. Lu Ming found it hard to imagine, and he was filled with anticipation. Therefore, Lu Ming estimated that if he went all out now, he should be able to suppress an ordinary 5-star Great Emperor, but he would definitely not be a match for a 6-star Great Emperor. As for the Celestial Thearch's body, it had absorbed a large amount of the evil god tribe's black crystals and had been filled with energy a long time ago. That's right, The energy stored in the Heavenly Emperor's corporeal body had reached 100%. Now, with the corporeal body, it was enough to compete with a peak Great Emperor. Buzz. At this time, a figure flickered over. It was Emperor Notionless. He had gone out to inquire about news earlier. With the return of Emperor Formless, Huntian Emperor and Skyfire Emperor also opened their eyes. Everyone, there's important news outside. Emperor Formless said hurriedly as soon as he returned. What news? Lu Ming was interested. During this period of time, the powerhouses from the Heaven Realm and the Evil God Tribe have reached an agreement. They plan to join forces to deal with the 4 divine beasts and enter the core area. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Join forces? The 4 divine beasts have reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. Even the weakest Heavenly Emperor is far more powerful than a Great Emperor. Even if the 2 of them join forces, they can't be a match for a Heavenly Emperor. The Skyfire Emperor was suspicious. That's right. However, this matter has already alerted the various Celestial Emperors outside the island. The Celestial Emperors here in the Heaven Realm are planning to send 2 Heaven Dao soldiers to kill the 4 divine beasts. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Heaven Dao soldiers. Lu Ming and the rest widened their eyes in shock. What a huge investment to actually support 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. Clearly, the various Heavenly Emperors outside the Void God Island placed great importance on the core region of the Void God Island. It said that the Heavenly Emperors borrowed them from a few peerless powerhouses. The Heavenly Emperor powerhouses of the Evil God Tribe also took out a few combat weapons of the same level to deal with a few divine beasts. Emperor Wu Xiang said. When do we make our move? Lu Ming asked. In at most half a month. Right now, the Heaven Realm and the Evil God Tribe's powerhouses are discussing their plan of action. Emperor Wu Xiang said. Lu Ming muttered to himself. In the end, he decided to make a trip. He couldn't miss the core area. The 4 divine beasts' combat strength had barely reached the level of a Celestial Emperor. If multiple peak Great Emperors activated the Heaven Dao soldiers, they might be able to kill the 4 divine beasts and enter the core area. Lu Ming's combat strength was not weak to begin with. His ability to survive was even stronger. Furthermore, he had the Celestial Thearch's physical body. It was not impossible for him to try his luck. Lu Ming, if you're going, you must be careful. Emperor Formless and the others warned. With Emperor Formless and the others' cultivation, they definitely couldn't go. Anyone below the level of a high-level Great Emperor would only be courting death. Chapter 2368. Next, Lu Ming and the rest ended their seclusion and paid close attention to the movements in the outside world. 10 days later, the Heaven Realm experts sent out a message, summoning all the high-level Great Emperors to gather and head to the core area. It wasn't that those experts were so kind as to share the benefits, but that they needed power. Even if they managed to kill the 4 divine beasts, they would still have to face the powerful beings of the Evil God Tribe later on. They had to increase their strength. Otherwise, they would probably be exterminated by the Evil God Tribe after they killed the 4 divine beasts. Lu Ming bade farewell to Emperor Notionless and the others and headed in one direction. After flying a long distance, they arrived at a mountain valley. This place was relatively hidden. When Lu Ming arrived, he realized that there were already many people gathered here. Over 300. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was somewhat shocked. There were already more than 300 Heaven Realm beings gathered here. This number could be said to be very shocking. One had to know that almost all the people here were advanced Great Emperors. These people were from all races. There were many humans and all sorts of divine beasts. Although most of them were in human form, Lu Ming could still sense them based on their aura. He's Lu Ming. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, someone recognized him and was shocked. Lu Ming actually dared to come here. One should know that those who could come here were almost all advanced Great Emperors. Could it be that Lu Ming already had the strength of an advanced Great Emperor? That was impossible. Most of the people shook their heads, thinking that Lu Ming was only here to try his luck. However, there were a few people who had serious expressions. This was because the news of Lu Ming easily killing a 4-star Great Emperor in the huge tower had spread. Some people had heard of this. Lu Ming arrived and walked to the side, waiting with peace of mind. As time passed, more and more people came. Gradually, the number exceeded 500. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a little Daoist looking around sneakily. If it wasn't Dandan, who could it be? Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Dandan had indeed come to the Void God Island. If there were any treasures, this fellow would definitely be there. Dandan, Lu Ming called out. Who is it? Dandan was shocked. She jumped up and scanned her surroundings. When she saw Lu Ming, she smiled and flew over. So it's you. What? You've broken through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. You dare to come here? Dandan smiled and her pair of sneaky eyes darted randomly at Lu Ming. Then her eyes widened and she said in surprise, Kid, what a strong chi and blood. You've cultivated an ancient body cultivator, so your physical body is shockingly strong. This fellow was indeed one of the top 10 war beasts. It was very knowledgeable and could tell some of Lu Ming's secrets at a glance. You've also improved a lot. Lu Ming laughed. A hint of surprise flashed in the depths of his eyes. Because in his eyes, Dandan's cultivation was unfathomable. Needless to say, this guy had probably reached the Great Emperor realm a long time ago, and he had even reached an extremely deep realm. Then why don't you take a look at who I am? Dandan grinned. Of course, the two of them talked through telepathy to prevent their secrets from being overheard by others. The two of them hadn't seen each other for a long time and were chatting. In the end, the number of people who came here gradually decreased. 3 days later, more than 600 people had gathered here. They were all experts above advanced Great Emperor. Any one of them was an expert in a region. Everyone. At this moment, a group of people stepped out. There were about a dozen of them, and each of them had a deep and unfathomable aura. They are all peak Great Emperors. Dandan sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming, who nodded secretly. These people were probably the strongest group of people in the Heaven Realm. A burly man with a long beard, who looked like a lion, looked around and said, Let me introduce myself, 1am Hongshi. After saying this, he paused for a moment before continuing, I'll talk about what we need to do now. In the depths of Void God Island, there's a place that's very likely to be the true Dao ground left behind by the island's owner. However, it's guarded by 4 divine beasts. The 4 divine beasts have the bloodline of the legendary divine beasts of the 4 directions, and their combat strength has barely reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. First of all, our goal is to get rid of the 4 godly beasts. 2 of them are guarding the core area, and the other 2 are patrolling outside. So, we only need to take care of 2 of them. They've been wandering around, so we just need to send someone to attract them. Send people to attract them? Many people's faces sank. It was definitely very dangerous to send people to attract the 2 wandering divine beasts. Who would be willing to go? Hongshi saw through everyone's thoughts and smiled. You don't have to worry about this. We've already sent people out, and they're all experts in speed and life-saving abilities. They'll be enough to attract that divine beast for a while. As for the other one, I'll leave it to the evil god tribe. This time, we've discussed with the evil god tribe. We'll deal with 2 of the 4 godly beasts on each side. Now that we've taken care of the one outside, we'll deal with the 2 godly beasts that are guarding the core area. Similarly, the evil god tribe and we will each face one of them. In the end, we will enter the core area and fight for the treasures with our own abilities. Hongshi said a long string of words, and everyone nodded, basically understanding. It's almost time. Let's go now. After Hongshi finished speaking, he took the lead and flew towards the island. More than 600 powerhouses followed him. They had already sent people to attract the attention of a godly beast, so they naturally knew the safe route. Thus, they were extremely fast as they flew towards the Void God Island. They did not need to be afraid of encountering that godly beast. A day later, they had already arrived at the central region of the Void God Island. At this point they slowed down. Not long after, they arrived at a mountain peak and looked into the distance. In front of them, there was an area that was misty as if it was covered by a thick fog. Even with their eyesight, they could not see through the fog. In the south, there was a huge arched door. This arched door was open, and from a distance, one could see a stone staircase behind the arched door. This is the core area. However, the fog is formed by a large array. We can't enter it at all. The only way in is through that arched door. However, as soon as we appear, the two godly beasts will also appear. Therefore, we have to deal with them first. Hong Shi explained. The people from the evil god race should have arrived by now. We'll contact them now. We'll act together later and take care of one divine beast each. A white-haired old man said. Then, his figure flashed and he left the place. Not long after, the white-haired old man returned. The evil god tribe has arrived. We'll attack together in 10 minutes. The white-haired old man said. Everyone nodded and waited patiently. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. Let's go, Hong Shi said. Everyone concealed their auras and flew toward the core area. In another direction, they saw a large group of evil god tribe members flying toward the land of fog. Chapter 2369. So many people. Many people's hearts sank. They realized that the evil god tribe had a total of 800 to 900 people, which was a few hundred more than them. The powerhouses from both sides quickly approached the core. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Lu Ming and the rest were about to reach the core area, there was a violent roar in the fog. The ground was shaking continuously. Then, a huge creature appeared. It was a huge turtle. This turtle was even bigger than a mountain. It had a thick shell on its back, a dragon's head, and a snake's tail. It was very similar to the legendary Xuanwu, one of the 4 divine beasts. The black tortoise let out a loud roar. It opened its mouth and howled, causing the ground to shake. Countless rocks actually squirmed and transformed into stone swords that slashed towards them. Heaven-worshipping Dao soldiers. Hong Shi shouted and waved his hand. A purple-gold combat sword floated out, emitting a shocking aura and pressure. 6 peak emperors attacked at the same time, injecting their Daos and world power into the purple-gold sword. The purple-gold combat sword let out a sword cry. It became bigger and bigger, and the sword cry was shocking. This was the Heaven Dao soldier. 5 to 6 peak great emperors working together to control the Heaven Dao soldiers might not be able to unleash their full power, but it was still terrifying. Buzz. The purple-gold combat sword trembled, and a faint pressure of the heavenly path spread out. At the same time, purple sword chi burst out, shattering the stone swords of Xuanwu. There were also some peak emperors who took out another Heaven Dao soldier. This time, he had borrowed a total of 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. The second Heaven Dao weapon was a round bead that was as black as ink, but it was also extremely powerful. The 7 or 8 peak emperors controlled the black bead and crushed it toward the black tortoise. A dozen peak emperors controlled 2 Heaven Dao soldiers to attack the black tortoise. The Xuanwu gave a long roar and exploded out with a shocking aura. The ground continuously trembled, and rocks and dirt formed all sorts of attacks that attacked the 2 Heaven Dao soldiers, causing an intense battle to break out. At the same time, a dragon's roar rang out from another direction as an incomparably huge azure dragon appeared. Its body wriggled as it charged toward the evil god race with an overbearing aura. On the evil god tribe's side, they also took out 2 combat weapons that were extremely powerful and started to fight with the azure dragon. Boom, boom. On the Heaven Realm's side, the 2 Heaven Dao soldiers erupted with terrifying power. This power had completely surpassed the level of great emperors and entered the level of heavenly emperors. The 2 Heaven Dao soldiers struck out at the same time, instantly destroying some of the Xuanwu's attacks and blasting them towards it. Buzz. A purple-gold sword light slashed at the Xuanwu, but the Xuanwu moved its body and the sword light only hit the turtle shell, leaving a shallow mark. Such a strong defense. The people from the Heaven Realm all had ugly expressions. Boom. At this time, the black bead also came down, but the black tortoise still avoided its vital parts. When the bead hit the tortoise shell, the black tortoise only trembled a little and took a few steps back, but it was not seriously injured. At this moment, a wail rang out from afar. The azure dragon had been struck by the evil god race's combat weapon, and a deep wound had appeared on its body. The azure dragon was injured, and the evil god tribe had the advantage. Damn it, we're so unlucky to have encountered the black tortoise. Hong Shi roared angrily, somewhat unwilling. It wasn't that the Xuanwu was stronger than the Azure Dragon. The difference in strength between the two wasn't that great. With 2 Heaven Dao soldiers, they should be able to suppress or even kill the other. However, the black tortoise's defense was too strong. The black tortoise was known for its defensive power. The black tortoise's defensive power was far above the Azure Dragon's. It had a tenacious vitality and was even more difficult to deal with. Before they made their move, they were afraid of encountering the black tortoise. They didn't expect to really encounter it. Everyone attack together. Hong Shi roared, calling for everyone to attack. Kill, kill. All 600 of them were advanced great emperors, and their combined attacks were shockingly powerful. Beams of dazzling light shot toward the black tortoise. However, the black tortoise's head and limbs retracted into its shell. All the attacks landed on its shell, and only a violent boom could be heard. The black tortoise was completely fine, and it couldn't break through the other party's defense. A dozen peak emperors controlled the heavenly Dao soldiers to attack, but they were also blocked. However, as soon as the Heaven Realm's people stopped attacking or their attacks weakened, Black Tortoise would immediately counterattack. With Black Tortoise's strength, he was a great threat to them. Not far away, the Azure Dragon wailed as another wound appeared on its body. The Azure Dragon's defensive power was far inferior to the Black Tortoise's. It was retreating step by step, and it was only a matter of time before it was defeated and killed. This treasure land will belong to us, ha. The evil god tribe members laughed out loud, extremely carefree. As long as they killed the Azure Dragon first and entered the core area first, the treasures in the core area would be theirs. Let's attack together. The evil god tribe also called for everyone to attack together. With 800 to 900 high-tier great emperors attacking at the same time, it was simply enough to destroy the world. Instantly, the Azure Dragon's injuries became even more severe. Wounds kept appearing on his body, and his aura became weaker and weaker. He was becoming less and less of a match. Damn it! On the side of the Heaven Realm, many people were roaring in anger. If this continued, they wouldn't be able to get anything at all. Wouldn't the evil god race benefit from this? No matter who it was, the evil god race was the last to benefit. Looks like he'll have to personally make a move. At the side, Dandan spoke. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Dandan was the divine turtle of the world, one of the top 10 war beasts. It was also a turtle, and it was at the peak of the turtle species. Even the real Xuanwu was only comparable to Dandan, not to mention that this one only had some of the bloodline of the real Xuanwu. Dandan soared into the sky, and his body underwent a drastic change. He turned into a giant turtle, and his body grew larger and larger, almost filling the entire sky. The turtle shell was covered with mysterious patterns, as if it was a world. Junior, why aren't you kneeling after seeing me? Dandan looked at the black tortoise, and a huge pressure pressed down on the black tortoise. The black tortoise's eyes were filled with shock and fear. This was the fear of a lower person facing a higher person. Although Dandan's cultivation base was not as high as the other parties, the divine turtle of the world was definitely at the top among all turtles. Attack! At this moment, Hong Shi and the others seized the opportunity and controlled the Heaven Dao soldiers to attack the black tortoise. The black tortoise was intimidated by Dandan's aura. Its mind was shaken, and its movements slowed down a lot. Suddenly, its head was hit. The purple-gold Heaven Dao soldier was extremely huge, and the entire blade was inserted into the Xuanwa's head. The defense of the Xuanwa's shell was amazing, but its head and limbs were very weak. They were weaker than the other godly beasts and were its vital points. The black tortoise's head was pierced and it was severely injured. It wailed in pain. Chapter 2370. The others immediately seized the opportunity to launch a fierce attack. Boom! The huge black bead pressed down and hit the Xuanwa's head, causing it to be even more injured. Following that, the Heaven Realm experts' attacks also landed on the wound on Black Tortoise's head, causing him to suffer even more injuries. The black tortoise wailed and finally, its huge body directly crashed toward the crowd. Everyone's expression changed. The black tortoise's desperate counterattack was so powerful that if they were hit by it, they would definitely be crushed into pieces. Everyone quickly made way. The black tortoise took this opportunity to shrink its 4 limbs and head into its shell. Then, like a ball, it rolled into the distance and escaped. Everyone looked at each other. They didn't expect the black tortoise to escape directly. They thought the black tortoise would protect this place with its life. Perhaps it was the effect of the world turtle. Everyone's eyes looked at Dandan as they guessed in their hearts. The black tortoise might have been frightened by the divine turtle of the world and was seriously injured, which was why it escaped. Dandan had been adventuring in the heaven realm over the years, and many people already knew his name. The black tortoise has escaped. Let's go in. Someone laughed and rushed toward the arched door. Damn it, damn it. The people from the evil god race roared in anger. They had thought that they would have the upper hand, but they didn't expect that the heaven realm would have the upper hand instead. Kill, kill, kill. The people from the evil god race were anxious and attacked with all their might. In an instant, the injuries of the azure dragon became even more serious, and even its dragon claws were cut off. Ming and the rest had already arrived at the entrance. The arched door was extremely huge and was at least 10,000 meters tall. The few hundred of them could easily pass through it. Their eyes were burning with passion as they charged into the arched door. At this moment, Dandan had already transformed into her human form. Together with Ming, she also rushed into the arch. Behind the arched door was a mountain. In front of them, there was a stone ladder that led to the top of the mountain. As soon as they entered the arch, they immediately felt a terrifying pressure. This pressure was similar to the pressure in other places on the island and could suppress the heavenly Tao. However, it was even stronger here. In other places they could still fly, but here, they found that they could not fly, and even walking was difficult. Bang, bang. Someone took a step forward and climbed up the stone stairs with great difficulty. Since he couldn't fly, he could only walk. Ming and Dandan also climbed up the stone stairs. The pressure was too strong, and their walking speed was very slow. Only the peak emperors were the fastest and climbed up one step at a time. Some of the 4-star great emperors were as slow as a snail. Ming's speed was above average among these people. Ming, you can't keep up with your speed. Dandan took a few steps and her speed was no slower than peak great emperors. Dandan, you've reached the peak great emperor realm? Ming asked. No, I'm a 6-star great emperor, but am definitely not weaker than them. Dandan said with confidence. Everyone used all their strength to climb up, but not long after, the evil god tribesmen still rushed in. Clearly, they had also dealt with the azure dragon. 800 or 900 evil god race members also started to climb, but they were also under great pressure. However, some peak great emperors were still very fast and kept moving forward. Soon, they surpassed the 4-star great emperors of the heaven realm. What's that? A statue. After walking for a while, they saw a body at the end of the stone stairs. It was obviously a statue. The statue was of a middle-aged man. Although it was just a statue, it still had a domineering and supreme aura. That pressure seems to be coming from that statue. Ming's heart stirred. He really did have this feeling. It was as if the pressure was coming from that statue, and it was even spreading across the entire island. After a while, the peak emperor of the heaven realm who was at the front had finished walking the stone stairs. He walked to the top and disappeared. Everyone became anxious and climbed with all their might. A moment later, Ming finally reached the end of the stone staircase, at the top. There were also some peak great emperor experts from the evil god tribe who were similar to him. At the end of the stone stairs was the peak of the mountain. However, there was nothing there except for a statue. The statue exuded a terrifying pressure. The dozen peak great emperors from the heaven realm who were the first to step onto the stone stairs stood under the statue with dark expressions. Boom, boom. Here, the pressure was even stronger. Every step he took would cause the ground to rumble. What's going on? What did you get here? An expert from the evil god tribe was forcing an expert from the heaven realm to answer. There's nothing here. Other than this statue, there's nothing else here. A peak great emperor from the heaven realm said. There's nothing. The evil god tribe's expert's face turned dark. They had borrowed the Heaven Dao soldiers and spent a lot of effort to come here, but in the end, there was nothing. It would be strange if they looked good. This statue, what kind of race is it? As for Lu Ming, he was sizing up the statue curiously. He could now confirm that the terrifying pressure that could suppress the heavenly Dao on the entire island was coming from this statue. It was just a statue, yet it was able to emit such a terrifying pressure. It was truly shocking. Needless to say, this statue was most likely carved of the master of the Void God Island, that supreme existence. In fact, it was even carved by that supreme existence himself. Moreover, the statue looked very strange. This statue was in the form of an adult. It was a handsome middle-aged man. However, there was a pair of snow-white wings on his back. The wings were full of snow-white feathers, and when they were spread out, they were full of pressure. He pressed his hands on the hilt of a huge combat sword, which was stuck in the ground. Could the master of this statue be a bird-type divine beast? Lu Ming made a guess. That's not right. Normally, if a divine beast leaves a statue, it will leave a statue of its divine beast body. However, a human-shaped creature with wings like this one will not leave a statue like this. One speculate that this existence's body looks like this. Dandan said. The original body is like this? There doesn't seem to be such a race in the heaven realm and the primordial realm. There shouldn't be such a race in the evil god tribe either. Lu Ming was full of questions. Maybe it's a race that has appeared in the past countless years, or maybe it's from another world. No one knows if there are other worlds in the world besides the heaven realm, the primordial realm, and the evil god realm. Dandan said. Other worlds. Lu Ming's heart trembled and his imagination ran wild. While they were chatting and observing, more people climbed up the stone stairs and looked around curiously. Unfortunately, he gained nothing. There was really nothing on the peak of the mountain other than this statue. After half an hour, everyone from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe had reached the top of the mountain. They stood on both sides and were on guard against each other. Chapter 2371. The two sides confronted each other and were on guard, but they did not make a move. Right now, there was nothing here. If they were to fight later and not get anything, wouldn't it be a loss? Perhaps this statue has a secret. After a while, someone spoke up and stared at the statue again. There was nothing here other than the statue. If there was a chance, it could only land on the statue. It'll break him. A cold voice rang out as an extremely burly member of the evil god race stepped out. In his hand was a battle axe that was as black as ink, but it exuded a terrifying sharpness. Heaven Dao soldiers. Everyone was shocked. 10,000 Daos returning to one. Be it the nomological system, the ancient cultivation system, or the evil god race, all of them would come into contact with the heavenly Dao at the end of their cultivation. In other words, after reaching the heavenly emperor realm, the various systems were actually very similar. The Heaven Dao soldiers contained the Heaven Dao and were the supreme divine weapons shared by all systems. The supreme weapon used by the evil god race was also the Heaven Dao soldier. Help me! The muscular evil god race member looked at other members of the evil god race. Instantly, 5 to 6 members of the evil god race walked out. They were all peak grade emperors. A total of 7 peak great emperor experts from the evil god race were controlling the battle axe at the same time. Buzz! The battle axe trembled violently, revealing its sharp edge. The aura of the heavenly Dao emanated from it, causing everyone to feel a huge pressure. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The battle axe, which had been growing rapidly, seemed to be frightened by something and began to shrink again. Finally, it became the size of an ordinary battle axe and fell to the ground. There was no tyrannical aura at all. It was like an ordinary axe. Everyone was dumbfounded. The pressure here is too strong. The chi of the heavenly Dao from the Heaven Dao soldiers is being suppressed by the pressure here. Some people speculated. Everyone was shocked. It was very likely that this was the case. The pressure on the Void God Island was supreme and transcended the heavenly Tao. It could suppress the heavenly Tao and prevent heavenly Emperor realm existences from entering. And here, the pressure was extremely strong. It was normal for it to be able to suppress the Heaven Tao soldiers. The expressions of the experts who had borrowed the Heaven Tao soldiers turned unsightly. They had originally wanted to use the Heaven Tao soldiers to suppress everyone and take the top spot, but now, they couldn't use the Heaven Tao soldiers at all and could only rely on their own strength. The eyes of those who didn't have Heaven Tao soldiers lit up. For Lu Ming and the rest, without the Heaven Tao soldiers, they had nothing to fear. I won't use RHE Heaven Tao soldiers, they'll still chop you up. 11 die. One of the evil god race members hollered in anger as he brandished a huge metal rod and charged up, smashing toward the statue. The metal cudgel grew rapidly, becoming tens of thousands of meters long. It was extremely shocking, shattering the void and smashing towards the statue. The evil god race member who attacked was a peak emperor. Boom. The huge metal rod smashed onto the statue's head. The metal rod shook violently, but the statue was completely fine. Not even a trace was left behind. It's so hard, many people were shocked. A peak great emperor's full power attack had the power to destroy the heavens and earth, but this statue was completely fine. Look, the statue is reacting. Suddenly, someone shouted. Everyone's eyes lit up. The statue had indeed reacted. Previously, this statue seemed to be carved out of an ordinary boulder. The material seemed to be very ordinary. But now, a layer of milky white light appeared on the statue. It was holy and pure. All of a sudden, the milky white light transformed into a sword light that pierced through the sky. Its target was the evil god tribe member who had just attacked the statue. The evil god race member was shocked. However, being suppressed by the terrifying pressure here, his speed had become extremely slow. There was no way for him to dodge at all, and he could only take it head-on. Boom. He swung the iron rod in his hand again. The iron rod pierced through the void and headed toward the milky white sword light. However, the result was unexpected. The sword light flashed past, and with a pu sound, the metal rod was directly sliced apart. The sword light did not stop and continued on toward the evil god race with an unbelievable speed. Blood splattered everywhere as the evil god tribe member's glabella was pierced through by the sword light. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief, but he was no longer breathing. His soul was destroyed. A single strike had destroyed the evil god tribe's soul. Many people gasped. This was a peak great emperor, but he was killed just like that without any power to resist. Nor good. Many people were shocked and retreated frantically, afraid that they would end up the same way. However, after killing the evil god tribe member with the sword light, it dissipated on its own, and the milky white light on the statue disappeared without a trace. It was as if the light had appeared to kill the evil god tribe. He couldn't be humiliated. This statue was a statue of a supreme existence that could not be humiliated. The evil god race members who had wanted to use their Heaven Tao soldiers to attack the statue were all drenched in cold sweat. Buzzle right at this moment, the statue emitted a slight vibration, causing everyone's hearts to suddenly shake and be on tenterhooks. Then, everyone saw the eyes of the statue change. At this moment, the eyes of the statue were no longer made of stone. Instead, they had turned into two vortexes. His left eye was milky white. His right eye was pitch black. In the next moment, light extended from each of the eyes and turned into two paths. Two paths, one to his left eye and the other to his right eye. Why did the eyes of the statue suddenly turn into two paths? Could it be that there was something else in the eyes of the statue? The treasure is inside? Many people start to think. The left is the path of life, the right is the path of death. Life can be death, death can be life, choose one between life and death. Suddenly, a voice rang out from within the statue. Everyone was shocked. It seemed that this statue was not as simple as it seemed. It seemed to know that they were coming. Two paths, one to live, one to die. Everyone's eyes flickered as they examined the two paths. It was very likely that there was an opportunity inside. This was an opportunity left behind by someone who surpassed the heavenly emperor. How precious would it be for such a supreme being to be able to craft Heaven Dao soldiers? Even if they left behind some trash, it would probably be an unimaginable treasure to them. Many people's eyes were filled with greed. However, for the time being, no one made a move because no one knew if there would be any danger on the two paths. On the path of life and death, life could be death and death could be life. No one could figure it out, so they all wanted others to go first. The crowd fell silent and looked at each other. Finally, someone couldn't take it anymore. He gritted his teeth and stepped forward. This was a god beast from the heaven realm, and he headed toward the path of survival with his left eye. The result was unexpectedly smooth. He stepped onto the path and nothing unusual happened. When he reached the statue's left eye, he took a step and entered the milky white vortex, disappearing. Chapter 2372. There was no abnormality in the left eye, and they entered smoothly. This made many people's eyes light up. With the first there would be a second. Then, another person walked towards the safe path in the left eye. It was an expert from the evil god tribe. Just like the previous one, he entered the milky white vortex in his left eye and disappeared without a trace. More and more people entered the left eye. However, there were also some people who had doubts. Was it really that easy? Then what was the point of the other path? Ming and Dandan had the same idea. Only by putting yourself in death's door can you obtain a great opportunity. I'll walk the path of death. Someone spoke, his eyes flashing with madness. He stepped forward, actually walking towards the path of death. Many people looked at this person. They all wanted to see if the path of death would really lead to death. Bang! The man stepped onto the path of death. His body trembled violently, and his face turned pale in an instant, as if he had suffered a heavy blow. Then, with a scream, his body flew backward and fell heavily on the ground, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. But he didn't die, he was still alive. What's on the dead end? Someone immediately asked. Pressure, extremely heavy pressure, bombarding the body and soul. The man only said one sentence before he immediately sat down cross-legged and began to heal his injuries. Pressure? In that case, it's not necessarily a dead end. As long as we can withstand that pressure, a dead end is also a way to live. Many people's eyes lit up. From then on, some people headed for the path of death. This was because many people thought that the path to survival was too simple. There might not be any benefits in entering. Perhaps, the great opportunity would be on the path to death. Following that, more and more people continued to walk towards the path of death. However, the right eye's dead end gave off an astonishingly strong pressure. Those who stepped on it were all sent flying, making it difficult for them to climb up. I'll do it. A burly member of RH Evil God race bellowed in anger as he stepped forward, stepping onto the path of death. Bang! Bang! Every step he took caused a violent tremor. His entire body trembled. It was obvious that he was under great pressure. However, he gritted his teeth and did not stop. He slowly approached his right eye. In the end, the man walked to the end. He took a step forward and his body entered the vortex in the statue's right eye, disappearing. It was a success. Finally, someone managed to enter the right eye. It seems that a 6-star great emperor should be able to enter. Ming muttered. The evil god tribe member just now was a 6-star great emperor. Then, more and more people stepped onto the path of death. However, it was impossible for anyone who wasn't a 6-star great emperor to step onto it. Only a 6-star great emperor could step onto it. Ming, which path should we take? Dandan sent a voice transmission to Ming. Naturally, it's the right eye's dead end. Ming said. Can you do it? 11 Dandan pouted. Try it and you'll know. Ming smiled. Bang. With that, Ming stepped forward, heading towards the right eye's dead end. Boom. And NBSP the moment he stepped on it, a terrifying power acted on his body, penetrating every part of his body and even his soul. This moment, Ming's physical body was trembling nonstop. At the same time, 17 types of laws covered his entire body to resist the external pressure. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was slightly inferior to a 6-star grade emperor, his defense was definitely not inferior to a 6-star grade emperor. Although it was very difficult for him to walk, he walked forward step by step at a uniform speed. He was very determined. Dandan followed behind Lu Ming. This guy seemed to be quite relaxed. Although he was only a 6-star grade emperor, his battle power was comparable to a peak grade emperor, or even suppressed one. A moment later, Lu Ming finally approached the right eye of the statue. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. His entire body was aching. Under that terrifying pressure, he had also suffered some injuries. However, under the effects of the indestructible ancient scroll, his injuries were quickly recovering. Buzz. Lu Ming stepped into the black vortex in his right eye. He felt dizzy as if he had taken a long-distance teleportation array. The next moment, Lu Ming found himself in a huge secret room. This secret room was really huge. It was at least 10,000 miles long and wide, like an entire world. Moreover, as soon as Lu Ming entered the place, he immediately realized that the pressure on his body had disappeared without a trace. It was as easy as it was in the Tai Chi Ing heavenly region. Lu Ming felt full of energy. Sweeping his gaze, Lu Ming discovered that the people who had entered his right eye previously were all in this secret room, flashing back and forth, as if they were checking on something. However, this secret chamber was empty. There was nothing there, nor even a speck of dust. At this moment, a figure flashed not far from Lu Ming. Dandan's figure appeared. As soon as Dandan appeared, her eyes immediately looked around, but she immediately revealed a disappointed expression. There's nothing here. We didn't guess wrong this time, did we? We've come for nothing. Dandan 1's face was bitter. Let's wait and see. Lu Ming touched his nose. This time, he had really made a wasted trip. Everyone waited patiently, and as time passed, more and more people entered. The top experts of the Evil God Tribe and Rhe Heaven Realm had almost all entered this place. Apart from Lu Ming, there were also 6-star grade emperors and peak 7-star grade emperors. There W tier 60 to 70 of them. A few hours later, no one else came in. Obviously, those who could come in had all come in. It can't be that we can't get out. Someone suddenly spoke. Everyone's heart skipped a beat, and their expressions turned ugly. Indeed, although this place was large, it was surrounded by stone walls, and no one had any way out. They wouldn't really be trapped here forever, would they? Everyone looked at each other, and some people's faces turned pale. A dead end. They thought that the right eye was the path to death. Could it be true? Buzz. Just as everyone was feeling a little uneasy, the void trembled slightly and lines appeared. These lines then formed a figure. It was a young and beautiful woman. What was strange was that this woman also had a pair of beautiful snow-white wings on her back. It was extremely similar to the statue. Everyone's eyes turned to this woman, revealing a curious expression. "I'm the formation spirit of this place." 11 The young woman said. Formation spirit. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He thought of the huge tower that had also given birth to an array spirit. It seemed that the formation in this area was too advanced. After so many years, it had developed intelligence. One was created by my master back then. My master is the original body of this statue. He was an unrivaled figure. This is the eye of my master's statue. The formation spirit explained. Senior, where is your master now? Someone from the heaven realm asked. The owner of this statue was an unparalleled expert, even stronger than the celestial the Arch. If he were still alive, he would definitely have a huge impact on the war between Rhe Heaven Realm and the Evil God Tribe. Whichever side he stood on, that side would definitely win. Chapter 2373. My master left countless years ago. The formation spirit muttered. He left. Many people were confused. What did that mean? Had he left this Void God Island? Yes, I once heard Master talk to himself. He said that he had completed his mission and was about to leave this world and return. The formation spirit said after trying hard to recall. Everyone was even more confused. He left this world? He went back? Go back to where? Did this world refer to the heaven realm, the primordial realm, the evil god realm, or all of them? Only Dandan revealed a trace of shock and a trace of anticipation in her eyes, but she hid it very well and no one discovered it. When Master left, he said that after he left, the dojo he was cultivating in would be found sooner or later. If someone entered, they could give away some of the useless things he left behind. It could be considered a kind of fate. Also, let me tell you, you can only get it if you enter the right eye. If you enter the left eye, you will get nothing. The formation spirit continued, and slyly blinked its eyes like a young girl. Many people's eyes suddenly lit up. The useless item left behind by that great figure was a supreme expert. It was useless to him, but it was probably a supreme treasure to him. Once you've obtained the treasures, you should all leave this place. Leave this divine island, Master's Dao field. I don't want to be disturbed by anyone. When the time comes, all of you must leave. The formation spirit spoke again, and this time, when she finished speaking, a small silver-white bag appeared in her hand. She opened the bag and poured it out. Suddenly, balls of yellow light flew out of the bag. They were storage rings and bracelets covered in a layer of yellow light, like the stars in the night sky. Everyone's eyes were burning with excitement. These storage rings and bracelets were definitely not empty. They most likely contained treasures. "It's mine! It's mine! Go!" A loud roar rang out. Everyone couldn't hold it in any longer and burst out towards the storage rings and bracelets. "Get lost! You're looking for death!" Suddenly, a great battle broke out, and a tragic battle began. Here, there was no distinction between the evil god race and the beings of the heaven realm. Everyone had their own selfish motives and wanted to take the treasures for themselves. A civil war had broken out among the evil god tribe, and they were killing each other. There were also civil wars between the beings of the heaven realm, killing each other. All. A blood-curdling screech rang out as one of the 6-star Great Emperor Realm Evil God race members was cleaved into two by another member of the Evil God race's axe. Another human from the Heaven Realm had his body torn apart by a true dragon from the Heaven Realm. Tragic. In this place, there were only treasures and no factions. Lu Ming and Dandan also moved. Lu Ming dashed forward and grabbed a storage ring that was shining with a yellow light. On the other hand, Dandan pounced on a storage bracelet. Die! One of the evil god race members bellowed and charged toward Lu Ming. This evil god was a 6-star Great Emperor, and his battle strength was extremely shocking. Buzz! The muscles all over Lu Ming's body trembled rapidly. At the same time, he used the 6-feathered divine wings to increase his speed to the maximum. Buzz! Lu Ming dodged the evil god tribe member's attack in a flash and appeared beside the storage ring. He grabbed the storage ring in his hand. "You're looking for death!" The evil god race member was furious and charged toward Lu Ming in a frenzy. A destructive light burst out from his third eye and he transformed into a ferocious beast. He roared and pounced at Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not take it head-on. Instead, he continued to use his movement technique to avoid the other party's attack. With Lu Ming's own combat strength, although he could put up a fight against a 6-star Great Emperor, he was most likely not the opponent's match. There was no need to waste his energy. As for the Celestial Thearch's physical body, Lu Ming did not want to use it yet. That was because the formation spirit was still hovering in the air, still holding onto the bag. Who knew if there was a higher grade treasure in the bag? He would think about it when he had more high-level treasures. On the other side, Dandan had also successfully seized a storage bracelet. His combat strength was extremely strong, and he made a 6-star Great Emperor spit out a large mouthful of blood in just a few moves. He had easily seized the storage bracelet. After he got the storage bracelet, he set his eyes on another storage bracelet. Lu Ming's figure flashed extremely quickly, avoiding the evil god tribe member's attack. He then rushed toward another storage ring. There were two 6-star Great Emperors fighting over the storage ring. Of the two 6-star Great Emperors, one was from the evil god tribe, and the other was an expert from the Heaven Realm. The two of them were fighting intensely, and both of them were injured. Lu Ming rushed over, alarming the two of them. Don't even think about it. The two of them launched an attack on Lu Ming at the same time. Lu Ming increased his speed to the maximum. His muscles trembled billions of times per second and his six-feathered wings flashed rapidly, successfully avoiding one of the attacks. However, Lu Ming did not manage to avoid the other one and was hit. There was a flash of ruthlessness in Lu Ming's eyes. He charged forward and took the blow head-on. Boom! Lu Ming was struck and his body trembled violently. It was as if his body was about to be torn apart. However, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and withstood the attack. At the same time, he circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to recover with all his might. Therefore, Lu Ming appeared next to the storage ring in a flash and grabbed it. Lu Ming successfully obtained 2 storage rings. Hand over your storage ring. You're looking for death. The 3 powerhouses' storage rings had been taken away by Lu Ming. Each of them was filled with cold killing intent as they charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to heal his injuries while dodging the other party's attacks. At this moment, the entire secret room was in a state of killing. 6-star Great Emperor and 7-star Peak Great Emperor were fighting each other, and people were dying one after another. As for the storage rings and bracelets, they were all taken away. Very quickly, there were not many storage rings left. Brat, hand over the treasure. A purple-haired middle-aged man had his eyes on Lu Ming and charged towards him. His combat strength was shocking. This was a peak Great Emperor. Furthermore, he was a member of the royal race of the evil god race, and his strength was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's expression changed. If he did not use the celestial thearch's physical body, he would not be a match for such an expert. Now is not the time. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. His body flashed rapidly and he dodged the other party's attack. Do you think you can escape? You will die in my hands. Phil. The evil god tribe's royal member said coldly as he charged toward Lu Ming. The 3 6-star Great Emperors who were chasing after Lu Ming earlier were frightened and stopped. Die your sister. They'll fight you. At this moment, a disdainful voice rang out. Then, a huge palm slammed down towards the evil god tribe's royal tribe. His palm was covered with all kinds of runes, which intertwined with a terrifying power. The royal member of the evil god tribe slapped out with his palm and clashed with the palm, causing a deafening boom to ring out. After that, the body of the evil god tribe's royal member trembled violently, and he retreated continuously. Buzz. Dandan appeared beside Lu Ming. Chapter 2374. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Dandan. Dandan's battle power was indeed strong. She actually forced back a royal member of the evil god race, who was a peak emperor. The eyes of the royal member of the evil god tribe flashed with purple light as he stared at Dandan and said coldly, "Divine turtle of the world, that's good. I'll get rid of you today to prevent you from becoming a disaster in the future." Boom. A brilliant purple light burst forth from the body of the evil god tribe's royal tribe member. It was extremely dazzling, like a purple flame that was burning. On Dandan's body, countless runes shone, and a world slowly emerged. The battle between the two sides started at once. But at this moment, the storage rings and bracelets that the formation spirit had poured out had all been snatched away. Don't worry, there's still more. In the air, the formation spirit chuckled, picked up the bag, and poured it again. This time, balls of yellow light flew out from the bag. This time, there weren't many balls of light. There were only a dozen of them, but each one of them was 10 times more dazzling than the previous ones. Each ball of light was a weapon. There were nearly 20 pieces, and each one of them exuded a terrifying aura. That was the aura of the Heavenly Dao. Heaven Dao soldiers. Everyone's heart trembled, and their eyes burned with fire as they stared at the 20 weapons. To be precise, it was 19 weapons. 19 Heaven Dao soldiers. It's mine, it's mine. The Heaven Dao soldiers are mine. Many people's eyes were filled with burning greed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Everyone moved at the same time and rushed into the sky. Heaven Dao soldiers were simply too precious, and even many celestial emperors didn't have them. Everyone here was a 6-star great emperor, and their next step was to break through to the heavenly emperor realm. Once he successfully broke through to the heavenly emperor realm, with the addition of the Heaven Dao soldiers, his strength would skyrocket, and he would be able to stabilize his position among the heavenly emperors. Even if he couldn't break through to the great emperor realm, he could still sell it to the celestial emperor for a great price. Who wouldn't be tempted by such a treasure? A terrifying battle instantly erupted. In the previous battle, more than 10 people had died, but there were still about 60 people left. 60 people, but only 19 Heaven Dao soldiers. It was destined that they would fight to the death. Kill! Kill! This time, it was even more brutal. The peak great emperors attacked with full power, and several 6-star great emperors were instantly killed. Lu Ming and Dandan also soared into the sky at the first moment and chose their respective targets. This time, Lu Ming did not hesitate to summon the celestial thearch's physical body. Lu Ming merged with the celestial thearch's physical body. His speed was extremely fast as he rushed toward a long spear. There were 3 other people who were also charging at the spear. 2 6-star great emperors and 1 7-star great emperor. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and slashed out with the stone sword in his hand. Bang! A 6-star's great emperor was hit by Lu Ming and was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The energy in the celestial emperor's body had reached 100%, and it was no weaker than a peak emperor. The other 6-star great emperor was also sent flying by the other peak great emperor. Then he pounced toward the long spear with Lu Ming. Buzz! Lu Ming was 1 step ahead. He stretched out his large hand and grabbed the long spear. "You're looking for death, die?" The peak emperor shouted and attacked Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not dodge. This was the celestial thearch's physical body. It was sturdy and immortal with astonishing defensive power. Unless the celestial thearch made a move, Lu Ming did not believe that any great emperor could break it. Boom! The opponent's attack landed on celestial emperor's corporeal body, causing it to shake violently. However, it successfully blocked the opponent's attack without leaving a single mark on it. Lu Ming withstood the attack. He grabbed the long spear and kept it in the small world. "Hand over the Heaven Dao soldiers." The peak emperor was furious and launched a storm of attacks. "Don't think I'm afraid of you," Lu Ming shouted coldly. He completely disregarded his defense and charged straight at the man. The other party's attack landed on Lu Ming, but it could only shake him for a moment. It did not stop and rushed past him, slashing out with its sword. The other party was shocked and quickly retreated. However, he was still a step too slow and was swept by Lu Ming's sword. A deep wound appeared on his body and he was almost cut in half. "Kill!" Lu Ming shouted coldly and seized the opportunity to attack. Celestial Emperor's corporeal body had 100% of its energy, and its battle power wasn't weaker than a peak great emperor. However, the defensive power of the celestial thearch's physical body was astonishing. Lu Ming could completely ignore his defense. In this way, he could completely crush a peak great emperor in a head-on battle. The other party was injured and his combat strength was weakened. He was not Lu Ming's match. After a few moves, he was sent flying by Lu Ming and half of his body was cut in half. The other party was shocked. He did not dare to fight with Lu Ming and retreated rapidly. "Die!" At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared behind the other party. A palm covered in runes blasted towards the other party. "Oh, run!" The other party roared. He didn't expect to be ambushed from behind. It was too late to dodge. Bang! The other party was hit directly, and his body was torn into pieces, dying on the spot. A peak great emperor was killed just like that. The one who killed him was naturally Dandan. Dandan had already seized a Heaven Dao soldier, and that person had just retreated to Dandan's side, so Dandan directly attacked the other party. "Dandan, let's join forces." Lu Ming flew over. "Alright, there's one over there." Dandan shouted and flew toward one of the Heaven Dao soldiers, Lu Ming following closely behind. Over there, a few people were fighting fiercely. The two of them charged over and attacked a peak great emperor. This peak emperor was from the evil god race. Boom! Dandan struck out with his palm, and countless runes filled the air. There seemed to be a small world in his palm, and it pressed down on his opponent. The other party was shocked and quickly counterattacked. However, Lu Ming also rushed over. He fought with no regard for his life. He completely disregarded defense and slashed out with his sword. Being besieged by the two of them, that person was instantly no match for them. He was cut in half by Lu Ming's sword. The other party wasn't dead yet, and he retreated in fear. The two of them didn't chase after him. One of them kept the Heaven Dao soldier, and then charged towards the other one. The two of them joined forces and were invincible. The next Heaven Dao soldier was also obtained. This way, the two of them would each receive 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. The two of them joining hands had also raised the vigilance of the others. Those who were on good terms with him started to work together, especially the peak emperors. The 19 Heaven Dao soldiers were getting fewer and fewer as they were all taken away. That fellow has obtained 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. Dandan's gaze turned to a purple-haired middle-aged man. That person was the royal member of the evil god tribe. This person's battle power was shocking and stronger than normal peak great emperors. Kill! Lu Ming was very direct as he rushed toward the royal member of the evil god tribe. The energy in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was limited, so he had to end the battle as soon as possible. Dandan's figure flickered and she also charged at this person. Chapter 2375. Be * starred from the evil god race, come forth and fight. Dandan shouted, opened her mouth, and spat out a long river that flew towards the other party. It was like a heavenly river, but also like a battle sword. Boom! The evil god tribe's royal member's body glowed with a dazzling purple light as a combat sword appeared in his hand. The evil god tribe usually used battle axes, giant hammers, maces, and iron rods. They rarely used swords. Buzz! The sword howls did not stop. The royal member of the evil god tribe slashed out twice at the same time, and 2 purple sword gleams slashed toward Lu Ming and Dandan respectively. A purple sword light collided with the long river that Dandan spurted out. There was a loud bang and the two disappeared. However, Dandan's figure was already close to her opponent and she struck out a palm. As for Lu Ming, he did not take the other party's sword gleam head-on. A head-on confrontation would consume a lot of energy. Lu Ming had to try his best to conserve his energy. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he dodged the sword light. Then he charged at the other party. At this moment, Dandan and the 2 members of the evil god tribe's royal tribe had already exchanged their second blow. Boom! This time, it was a head-on collision. The 2 of them trembled and retreated. However, the royal tribe of the evil god tribe had retreated even more. He was at a disadvantage. The royal member of the evil god tribe was extremely shocked. The royal tribe of the evil god tribe was extremely powerful to begin with. In a battle of the same level, their strength far exceeded that of the other evil god tribes. On the other hand, Dandan was clearly only a 6-star great emperor and hadn't even reached peak great emperor yet, but her battle power was stronger than his, which shocked him. Die, you bastard! Dandan charged at the other party again, her killing intent extremely cold. Dandan hated the evil god tribe to the core. In ancient times, he had been severely injured by the evil god tribe and had barely turned into an egg. He had only been reborn after meeting Lu Ming. Therefore, he had to kill the evil god tribe whenever he saw them. This time, Lu Ming had also arrived. With the 2 of them working together, the royal family of the evil god tribe was even more vulnerable. Although he had used all his strength, he was still heavily injured and was frantically retreating. Quickly come and help me! The royal member of the evil god tribe roared. The royal tribe had an extremely high status among the evil god tribe. Even in such a situation where everyone wanted to take the Heaven Dao soldier, there was still a peak great emperor who charged towards Lu Ming and the others. No one can save you! Dandan roared and launched a storm of attacks. Lu Ming also launched a crazy attack. The royal member of the evil god tribe managed to block a few moves, but he was no match for Lu Ming in the end. One of his arms was cut off by Lu Ming's sword. The other party's storage bracelet was worn on this arm. Lu Ming used the power of the world to roll up the arm and kept it. Bastard, damn it! The royal member of the evil god race howled in rage. All of his treasures were in his storage bracelet, including the 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. No, it was 3. He had even borrowed one from the Heavenly Emperor stage powerhouse of the evil god tribe, which he had used to kill the Azure Dragon. His eyes were red, and his heart was bleeding. Unfortunately, he didn't dare to stay and could only retreat frantically. At this moment, the 19 Heaven Dao soldiers had all been taken away. Lu Ming and Dandan had the greatest gains. They had obtained a total of 6 items. At the scene, there were more than 20 more bodies. A few of them, even peak great emperors, had fallen here. The remaining people's eyes flickered. Someone had his eyes on Lu Ming. It was because Lu Ming and Dandan had indeed gained a shocking harvest just now. However, there were even more people who were staring at that formation spirit, their eyes flickering with thick greed. How many treasures were in the bag in the formation spirit's hand? A 4-armed member of the evil god race had a greedy look in his eyes. His mind had been blinded by his greed, and he took the lead to attack the formation spirit. Hand over that bag. The 4-armed evil god race member was also a peak emperor, and his speed was extremely fast. At the same time, the 4 weapons in his 4 arms slashed toward the array spirit. You actually want to attack me? Interesting. Then I'll send you on your way. The formation spirit muttered. It then opened its small mouth and slightly spat. It was as though a stream of air had been spat out from the mouth of the formation spirit. Then, a shocking scene happened. The 4-armed evil god tribe member let out a blood-curdling screech as his body exploded and turned into dust, not leaving behind anything. Everyone's heart trembled violently. It was as if a basin of cold water had been poured on them, extinguishing the fire of their greed. He killed a peak great emperor in one breath. What kind of strength was this? He's really courting death. This is the array spirit produced by the great array set up by a supreme expert. If he can borrow the power of the great array here, even the heavenly emperor will die, let alone him. Dandan gloated at Lu Ming's misfortune through voice transmission. The other people's expressions were unsightly, and they no longer dared to have any ideas about the formation spirit. I have one last treasure left. I'll give it to you. The formation spirit spoke again, and then the bag toppled over, a ball of light flying out. This time, there was only a ball of light that was extremely dazzling. It was 10 times more dazzling than the light of the Heaven Dao soldiers. In the light was a token. It looked very simple and seemed to be very ancient. However, it did not give off any aura and looked very ordinary. However, everyone's eyes were burning. The formation spirit was the last one to take out the token. The light on the token was 10 times brighter than the light on the Heaven Dao soldiers. According to his previous judgment, it seemed that the more precious a treasure was, the more dazzling the light would be. Although he couldn't tell what was so special about this token, it was definitely extremely precious. At this moment, everyone moved and rushed towards the token. Boom, boom. A terrifying battle instantly broke out, and the secret room shook. Bang, bang. Several 6-star great emperors were torn apart and died on the spot. The remaining 6-star great emperors were scared, and they kept stepping back, not daring to interfere. So many people were fighting for a token. The battle was too intense. All the peak great emperors were attacking madly. A 6-star great emperor would only die if he was caught in the battle. This time, Lu Ming and Dandan did not make a move. They were preserving their strength, and it was obvious that if they attacked now, they would definitely face a tragic battle. Although Lu Ming and Dandan were powerful, they would definitely face the attacks of the other peak great emperors if they were to fight for the token. The best strategy was to wait and see. Of course, it wasn't easy to do so in the face of such a treasure. Who could remain calm when faced with a treasure that was 10 times more precious than a Heaven Dao soldier? Even the Celestial the Arch would go crazy if he were here. But Dandan, this old monster who had lived for who knew how many years, had a strong heart, and at this time, she forcefully endured it. As for Lu Ming, he was no ordinary person either. He had experienced too many things along the way, and his heart was stronger than many old monsters who had lived for countless years. At this moment, he had to endure it. At the same time, he also took out a large number of energy crystals to replenish the energy of Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. The Celestial Thearch's corporeal body had lost a large amount of energy in the battle just now, and it was a good time to replenish some. Chapter 2376. The fight for the token was extremely intense. The peak Great Emperors from the Evil God race and Heaven realm added up to nearly 30. Close to 30 peak emperors were fighting madly. At this moment, there was no race or faction. There was only one person's greed. The others were all competitors. In such a tragic battle, there were casualties in a short while. A slightly weaker peak emperor was torn apart by two other peak emperors. There was also a very powerful peak Great Emperor who broke out of the encirclement and rushed towards his token. When he was about to get close to the token, he was turned into ashes by everyone. Peak Great Emperors fell one after another. The others who didn't die were also injured to varying degrees. Tragic, extremely tragic. This was a peak Great Emperor. If the Heavenly Emperor didn't appear, who could compete with him? They were all powerhouses who had the potential to become heavenly emperors. However, they were worthless now. Some of them had been killed by their enemies, while others had died at the hands of their own powerhouses. The more they killed, the crazier they became. Their eyes were already red from all the killing. Buzz. Finally, someone rushed to the side of the token and grabbed it. This was a true dragon. Its entire body was golden. It was the most powerful golden true dragon among the true dragons, and its strength was shocking. When he grabbed the token in his hand, he roared and tried to break out of the encirclement. However, a few extremely powerful experts immediately rushed over and attacked the golden true dragon with all kinds of attacks. Although the golden true dragon was strong and had amazing defense, it couldn't withstand it. Wounds appeared on its body and it almost tore it apart. Its eyes revealed a look of fear as it threw the token away. The scene fell into a chaotic battle again. Lu Ming, hurry up and recover. 111 Make some arrangements. Dandan sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Then her figure flashed quickly. Runes emerged from Dandan's hands and disappeared into the void. Lu Ming knew that Dandan was setting up a big array. Dandan's control of the Tao of Runes had reached an incredible realm. As long as he was given a little time, he would definitely be able to arrange a powerful formation. Lu Ming kept taking out energy crystals and supreme-grade rough stones to speed up the storage of energy in the Celestial Thearch's body. Bang, bang. Piles and piles of energy crystals he had obtained from the Evil God tribe and supreme-grade rough stones exploded and turned into energy that was absorbed by the Celestial Thearch's body. Of course, some of them were wasted and dissipated in the void. However, Lu Ming did not care. Usually, Lu Ming would not use such an overbearing method to let the Celestial Thearch's body store energy, as it was too wasteful. Some of the energy would dissipate because it could not be absorbed. However, he could not care so much now. In the air, the formation spirit swept a glance at Dandan, a trace of a smile hanging on the corner of its mouth, as if it had seen something, but did not say much. At the scene, the battle for the tokens had entered a white-hot stage, and the killing was extremely fierce. Many peak Great Emperors were killed and died here. There had been around 30 peak Great Emperors at the start, but only 20 remained. The remaining 20 or so peak Great Emperors were all injured. Buzz. At this moment, Dandan appeared beside Lu Ming and said, "How is it? Can you make a move?" "Sure," Lu Ming said. "All right, let's attack together. We'll seize that token as quickly as possible." Dandan nodded. Almost at the same time, the two of them moved. The two of them rushed out at the same time. "Endless world!" Dandan roared loudly. He revealed his true form, and his entire body was covered with countless symbols. Then he opened his mouth and spat out a world. It was really a world. However, it was not a small world that was condensed. It was a kind of magical technique. The power of this sacred art was extremely terrifying. It was as if an entire world was suppressing the enemy. Boom. A peak great emperor in front of Dandan was already injured and she suddenly attacked. He didn't have time to react and was killed. Another 2 peak great emperors were sent flying. Buzz. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and rushed over, waving his hand to grab the token. He and Dandan worked together seamlessly. Lu Ming grabbed the token in his hand. You're looking for death. Release the token. Kill, die. The other peak emperors roared and attacked Lu Ming. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Ming was instantly overwhelmed by all kinds of attacks. The celestial thearch's physical body trembled wildly and was sent flying. He flew thousands of miles away and crashed into the wall of the secret chamber. However, Lu Ming was fine. The celestial thearch's physical body had blocked the other people's attacks. If it was any other peak emperor, they would have been killed by this many attacks. However, Lu Ming used the celestial thearch's physical body to block these attacks and successfully kept the token into the small world. Still not dead. Kill him. The others were shocked as well. Then, they charged toward Lu Ming in a frenzy. Lu Ming, come here and enter the formation. Dandan's voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. At the same time, she waved her hands rapidly. Sword lights appeared in the void and attacked the peak emperors. Half of the peak great emperors were stopped by Dandan's formation. The rest of them continued to charge at Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming's feet stomped heavily on the wall. His body was like a cannonball, rushing towards Dandan. Whoosh! 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 One attack after another was directed at Lu Ming, but he did not care and allowed the attacks to land on his body. No one under the Celestial Emperor realm could break through the defense of the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Lu Ming rushed past her and approached Dandan at high speed. Kill! A purple-haired middle-aged man appeared in front of Lu Ming and slashed his sword at him. It was the royal member of the evil god tribe. His arm had been cut off by Lu Ming and his storage bracelet had been snatched away. He was constantly thinking of getting it back. At that moment, his arm had regrown. He seized the opportunity and charged at Lu Ming. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted and slashed with his sword. Clang! The 2 swords clashed and a violent boom erupted. Lu Ming's figure was blocked and he stopped. However, Lu Ming took another step forward and charged toward the royal member of the evil god tribe. Not only his sword, but his entire body also charged toward the other party. There were no moves or spells at all, only a brutal impact. Bush, bush. The evil god tribe's royal member stabbed out hundreds of times in an instant. The hundreds of sword gleams were extremely sharp. However, Lu Ming did not seem to see them as he crashed into them. The sword gleam could only leave a few shallow marks on Lu Ming's body. Bang! Lu Ming and his sword crashed into the evil god tribe's royal member. The royal member grunted as his body was sent flying. Lu Ming, on the other hand, rushed past him and arrived near Dandan. Great formation rise! He shouted daringly and waved his hands. Countless runes appeared and pieces of turtle shells appeared out of thin air, shrouding Lu Ming and him in the middle. Chapter 2377. Dandan controlled the formation and countless runes appeared, forming pieces of turtle shells that were like shields, surrounding Lu Ming and Dandan in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. Just as the turtle shell rose, the attacks from all directions arrived. Each attack was from a peak emperor, but they were all blocked by the turtle shell. None of the attacks could break through the turtle shell. Haha, you want to break the formation I set up? Although it's only for a short time, it's still possible to set up a formation that can protect you all. Dandan laughed out loud, extremely proud. Damn it, watch me break your turtle shell. Break! The rest of the peak emperors shouted and used their ultimate moves to attack Dandan and Lu Ming. However, there were so many turtle shells that they blocked all the gaps. When all the attacks landed on the turtle shells, they only trembled but couldn't be broken. Everyone, attack 1 point. Someone shouted, wanting to concentrate everyone's attack on 1 point and break the turtle shell. Bush, bush. Everyone's attacks were focused on the turtle shell. Sure enough, this move was effective. The turtle shell shook violently, and then cracks appeared on it. Those people were overjoyed, but their faces were very calm, and even had a faint mocking look. Boom. The turtle shell was shattered, but in the next moment, a new turtle shell was formed. Those people were stunned for a moment, and then their anger soared to the sky, and they launched an attack again. But it was no use. Every time they broke a turtle shell, a new one would float out. Dandan revealed a faint smile and a leisurely expression, which almost made those people vomit blood. After attacking for a while, there was no effect at all, and those people had to stop. What's the point of hiding in the turtle shell? Well, just wait here. He'll come out sooner or later, and once he does, well, tear them to pieces. The royal member of the evil god tribe said coldly. The others also revealed cold gazes. Have you all forgotten what one said before? At this moment, the formation spirit in the air spoke, its clear voice ringing in everyone's ears. I've already given you the items. After you get them, they'll send you out. You have half an hour more. After that, they'll send all of you out at the same time. Half an hour, damn it. The rest of the people's expressions changed drastically. Then, they launched their attacks one after another, attacking Dandan and Lu Ming. They had to break through Dandan's formation within half an hour. However, everything was in vain. It was completely useless. There were even people who bombarded the void, smashing it into pieces, trying to destroy the formation base of the formation. However, this kind of formation that imprinted runes in the void couldn't be broken at all. Unless the power was extremely strong and annihilated all the particles in the void, it was impossible to break through the void. Time passed quickly, and half an hour was up. All right, time's up. You can all leave. At this moment, the formation spirit spoke. After she finished speaking, her body emitted a dazzling radiance. An incomparably powerful force was applied to Lu Ming and the rest. Boom. Their bodies were repelled by an extremely powerful force, and they flew out of the statue in an instant. Then they flew out of the island. At this moment, an extremely terrifying and supreme power erupted from the statue and spread in all directions. Everyone on Void God Island was pushed by this force and was sent flying out of the island. However, the strange thing was that the demonic beasts and mutated beasts that had originally lived on the island were completely fine. Lu Ming's body was in the air. He could not control his body at all. It was as if he was being pushed by a huge wave in the sea and was flying backward rapidly. At the same time, he saw many other figures being pushed in all directions from the other corners of the island. The scene was extremely spectacular. Not long after, Lu Ming and the rest were pushed to the edge of the Void God Island. They stood in the void, and at this time, the force disappeared. At the edge of the island stood many figures. There were beings from the evil god race and the heaven realm. Other than Lu Ming and a few people, most of the people looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. Suddenly, a scream was heard. Someone had made a move. One of the evil god race members suddenly attacked and tore apart a heaven realm expert. That was because, at the edge of the island, the living beings of the evil god race and heaven realm were all mixed together. After being stunned for a moment, someone finally reacted and made a move. You're looking for death. Immediately, someone from the heaven realm retaliated. At the edge of the Void God Island, a chaotic battle immediately broke out. 2 2-star and 3-star Great Emperors attacked Lu Ming and were killed by him with one punch. Dandan, let's go first. Lu Ming rushed toward Dandan because Dandan happened to appear not far from him. Soon, the two of them met up and rushed out into the void, trying to meet up with Heavenly Emperor Hengyu. Stay here. With a loud roar, one of the evil god race members charged toward Lu Ming and the other man with a burning gaze. This evil god race member was a peak emperor. There were almost 20 peak great emperors left in the statue, but they were scattered by the force. There was only one peak great emperor here. You want to keep me here alone? A ferocious look flashed in Dandan's eyes as she charged toward this peak great emperor from the evil god race. As for Lu Ming, he had already put away the celestial emperor's body. Without it, he was no match for a peak great emperor, so he did not make a move. Boom, boom. Dandan's battle power was extremely strong, and after a few moves, she made the peak emperor spit out blood. The other party was shocked and retreated, not daring to fight Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Dandan met up and rushed outside. Let's go. Now is not the time for the final battle. On the side of the heaven realm, someone shouted and then flew out one by one. The people from the evil god race didn't dare to chase after them, because the heaven realm's people were flying in the direction that the heaven realm's celestial the arch was receiving. If they chased after them, they would only be met with death. The evil god race members turned around and flew in another direction. Slowly, the battle at the edge of the Void God Island came to a stop. Everyone chose the right direction and left the Void God Island. Lu Ming and Dandan flew at top speed. The Void God Island was getting further and further away from them, and it was getting smaller. Finally, they saw the figures in front of them. It was the Heavenly Emperor from the Heavenly Realm, and there were more than a dozen of them. Lu Ming saw the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor among them. These Heavenly Emperors were all looking at the Void God Island anxiously. Clearly, they had also sensed the change on the island. The Hengyu Heavenly Emperor's eyes lit up when he saw Lu Ming, and he flew over. Lu Ming, what happened on the Void God Island? Heavenly Emperor Hengyu asked. The other celestial emperors also turned to look at him curiously. Chapter 2378. Senior Hengyu, this matter is complicated. Let's go back first. Lu Ming said. Alright, 111 bring you guys back. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor nodded. Then, with a wave of his hand, he led Lu Ming and Dandan toward the passageway that they had come from. That passageway was also guarded by the Celestial the Arch. The Hengyu Heavenly Emperor brought Lu Ming and Dandan through the passage and returned to the Taiqing Heavenly Region. Lu Ming, you guys wait for me here. I have to go and bring the others back. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said. There were many great emperors that entered the island, but the number of heavenly emperors was limited. Naturally, each heavenly emperor would have to make many trips. Senior Hengyu, how about this? We'll wait for you in Two World City first. Lu Ming said. That's good too. You guys can return to Two World City first. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu nodded before turning around and entering the passageway. Lu Ming and Dandan flew toward Two World City. Back when the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor had brought them from Two World City, it had only taken them an hour. However, their speed was naturally not as fast as the Hengyu Heavenly Emperors. The two of them had flown at full speed, but it had still taken them 2 full days to return to Two World City. In Lu Ming's residence in Two World City, Lu Ming and Dandan began to divide the treasures they had obtained. What they split was mainly the Heaven Dao soldier and the token. The two of them took out all their Heaven Dao soldiers. The two of them had worked together to snatch 6 Heaven Dao soldiers, and the other one had been brought in by the evil god race's royal clan. There were a total of 7 of them. The 7 Heaven Dao soldiers gave off a terrifying aura, scaring Dandan so much that she hurriedly set up a formation to cover up the aura. In addition, there was also that token. Dandan, what will you choose? Lu Ming looked at Dandan. Dandan's eyes swept between the Heaven Dao soldier and the token with a fiery gaze, wishing she could take both for herself. I'll study this token first. Dandan grabbed the token in her hand and studied it carefully. However, Dandan had used all kinds of methods, but she had found nothing. Why would I? Dandan revealed a puzzled expression. Let me see. Lu Ming took the token and studied it carefully. However, he realized that there was nothing special about the token except that it was made of special materials and was sturdy. It's a very ordinary token. Is it really more important than a Heaven Dao soldier? Lu Ming was puzzled. Dandan was also scratching her head, unable to figure it out. Dandan, how about this? 7 Heaven Dao soldiers, each person will get 3, each person will get 4, but the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers plus this token, how about it? Lu Ming looked at Dandan. All right. Dandan nodded, but her eyes were rolling around, obviously hesitating about what to choose. How about this? It'll take 3 Heaven Dao soldiers and this command medallion. Lu Ming was the first to speak. You chose this token? You sure know how to choose. Dandan gritted her teeth. Dandan, this token might not be of any use at all. You've studied it before. I took it out purely out of curiosity. Heaven Dao soldiers are so precious. You've made a big profit by letting you take one more. Lu Ming said. Go, 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 you're trying to trick a 3-year-old kid. This token is extremely mysterious, and it was taken out last by the formation spirit. It might contain the secret of the heavenly Dao. You want to keep it for yourself, kid, but don't think one don't know. Dandan gritted her teeth and stared at the token, reluctant to look away. Dandan, how about this? I always feel that I have some fate with this token. I'll take it first, and if I discover any secrets in the future, I'll definitely take you with me. How about it? Lu Ming said. He really couldn't bear to give this token to Dandan. To be honest, he really had a feeling that this token might be of great use in the future. This was a kind of intuition. Dandan gritted her teeth, obviously still reluctant. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, Brat, if you discover any secrets in the future, you must tell me. Otherwise, I won't let you off. After saying that, Dandan began to pick out the 7 Heaven Dao soldiers. Dandan, this spear is more suitable for me. You can choose the rest. Lu Ming kept one of the long spears. Dandan was unconcerned. A Heaven Dao soldier in the form of a spear was not of much use to him. In the end, Dandan chose 4 Heaven Dao soldiers and kept them, leaving 2 for Lu Ming. The remaining 2 items were a sword and a meteor hammer. Lu Ming kept all of them, feeling satisfied. This time around, he had obtained 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This was a huge harvest. Lu Ming, you'll be cultivating in 2 World City for this period of time. If you discover anything, remember to look for me, he said. After Dandan put away the things, her figure flashed and she left the place. Lu Ming smiled, then took out 2 storage rings and checked them. He had obtained the 2 storage rings from the array spirit. Lu Ming was very curious about what was inside. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he used his spiritual senses to scan the area. The items in the storage ring were all over the place. Ori rocks, all sorts of blacksmithing materials, pills, and so on. Chaos gem. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He found chaos gems in one of the storage rings. This time, there were a shocking number of them, more than 10,000 pieces. This was an astonishing harvest. Also, the fragment of the Great Dao. Next, Lu Ming found more fragments of the Great Dao. They were locked in a box and there were more than 100 pieces. Even though Lu Ming was mentally prepared, he was overjoyed. If this wealth was taken out, it would make people go crazy. I'm rich, I'm really rich. Lu Ming's current wealth was already more than many of the heavenly emperors. 3 Heaven Dao weapons was no joke. After all, most of the celestial emperors didn't even have Heaven Dao weapons. This trip to the Void God Island has truly been a great harvest. Lu Ming sighed. After cultivating on the Void Island for 7 to 8 years, Lu Ming had made great progress in all dimensions. Lu Ming had already cultivated 8 of the 10 ultimate maxims to the 3rd realm. He had also cultivated 3 of the King Path maxims to the 3rd realm. Moreover, Lu Ming had also cultivated the 7 Gods mysterious technique to the middle of the 5th stage. His abilities had improved in all aspects. What a pity! If I had cultivated in there for a while, I might have been able to successfully cultivate the remaining 2 ultimate maxims. Lu Ming sighed. Out of the 10 strongest laws, he had only just started learning the law of cause and effect. As for the law of fate, he had yet to learn it. The speed of comprehending the laws on the Void Island was dozens of times faster than it was outside. Lu Ming was really tempted. It was a pity that he couldn't go in the future. It's already very rare for me to have such a great harvest. One can't be too greedy. Lu Ming smiled and kept his things. He sat cross-legged and his soul entered the small world to begin comprehending the laws of karma. Time flew by and half a month passed. On this day, Emperor Hingyu had arrived. It was clear that all the great emperors who had entered the island had been brought out. Lu Ming immediately recounted what had happened on the island to Emperor Hingyu. Chapter 2379. Heavenly Emperor Hingyu sighed when he heard about what had happened on the Void God Island. Senior Hingyu, this weapon is for you. Lu Ming moved his hand and a combat sword appeared in his hand. It was one of the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This is a Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Emperor Heng Ye's eyes lit up when he saw the sword. It is. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, this Heaven Dao soldier is too valuable. If you sell it, the price will be immeasurable. One can't accept it. Although Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu was tempted, he still shook his head. Lu Ming had risked his life to obtain this. How could he accept it? Senior Heng Yu, please accept it. I've gained a lot this time, and one have my own Heaven Dao soldier. I have no use for this sword. Lu Ming said. Indeed, he had gained a lot this time. He had all kinds of resources. There was no need for him to sell the Heaven Dao soldiers. He didn't lack resources. Along the way, the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor had been of great help to him, especially the Heavenly Emperor's physical body, which had helped Lu Ming escape danger many times. It was only right to give the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor a Heaven Dao soldier. Seeing Lu Ming's firm attitude, the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor hesitated for a moment before putting it away. Lu Ming, if you need anything, just tell me. It'll definitely help you if it's within my means. The Heng Yu Heavenly Dao said. Senior Heng Yu, you're too serious. Lu Ming said hurriedly. Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu looked at the sword in his hand carefully, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it, and a smile appeared on his face. His cultivation was at the 3-star Heavenly Emperor realm. With this Heaven Dao soldier, his combat strength would increase by a large margin. Even if he encountered a peerless expert at the 4-star Heavenly Emperor realm, as long as the other party didn't have a Heaven Dao soldier, he would be able to fight against them. He could even make use of the Heavenly Dao contained in the Heavenly Dao soldiers to improve his cultivation, break through the bottleneck, and break through to the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level, becoming a peerless powerhouse, a figure at the Heavenly Venerable level in the Heavenly Realm. This Heaven Dao soldier was too useful to him. After a while, the Heng Yu Heavenly Emperor kept the Heaven Dao soldier and left after chatting with Lu Ming for a while. He needed to refine the Heaven Dao soldier as soon as possible so that he could unleash its full power. After the Heng Yu Celestial the Arch left, Lu Ming made a trip to the Chaos Hall and gave the remaining Heavenly Dao soldier, the Meteor Hammer, to 2. Earth One was naturally overjoyed to obtain the Heaven Dao soldier. Actually, the Primal Chaos Palace had also left behind Heaven Dao soldiers. However, there were only 2 of them, and they weren't suitable for the earth element. One was in Gold One's hands and the other was in Lei Yi's hands. The others had long been envious. Now that Earth One had one, he was naturally overjoyed and extremely grateful to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Earth One and the rest were completely under his command. The stronger they were, the better it was for him. After Lu Ming returned to his residence, he had an idea and entered the mountain and river diagram. Then, a long spear appeared in his hand. This long spear was the Heaven Dao soldier. Boom, boom. All of Lu Ming's power erupted. The power of his physical body, the power of the world, and the power of the laws were all unleashed. The long spear emitted a dazzling radiance and swept out. The void was instantly shattered, and an endless space storm howled. It was simply destructive. Cool, this is too cool. After waving it a few times, Lu Ming stopped. With his current cultivation, he naturally couldn't unleash the full power of the Heaven Dao soldiers, nor could he activate the power of the Heaven Dao within. However, the material of the Heaven Dao soldiers was extremely sturdy and once activated, they would be heavier than a mountain. Lu Ming could unleash all his power without any restraint. Previously, when Lu Ming condensed the infinite dragon spear with the law, he could not unleash all of Lu Ming's power. At the very least, he could not use his physical strength to his heart's content. Once there was a strong collision, the infinite dragon spear would collapse. Therefore, most of the time, Lu Ming simply used his fists to fight the enemy. In that case, he would be able to unleash his abilities more. But now, with this long spear, Lu Ming's strength could be unleashed to his heart's content. Moreover, the long spear had more or less increased Lu Ming's combat strength. On the handle of the spear, there were 3 words: Great Desolation Spear. Great Desolation Spear, accompany me in my world war. Lu Ming smiled and kept the Great Desolation Spear. After a while, he'll go back to the primordial realm to take a look. Lu Ming started to think. It had been many years since he had entered the heaven realm from the passageway in the divine wilderness continent's 9 dragons. Now that his strength had improved rapidly, it was time for him to go back and take a look. Also, he had to go back and settle some scores. For example, the Hung family, the He family, and the Daoist heaven sect of the Heavenly Emperor City. The Mu family in the Divine Land. These people wanted to kill him back then. It was time to settle the score. However, before Lu Ming returned, he planned to look for Bubbles, Long Qin, Feng Ling, and the rest. He had too many resources on hand now and he planned to give them some. This way, their cultivation speed would also increase. Lu Ming found a few acquaintances and asked them about Bubbles and the rest. He waited while asking. At the same time, in a great hall of the Lan family, the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were discussing something. Lu Ming, you've gone too far. The heavenly emperor of the Lan family, Lan Cheng, let out a furious roar filled with endless killing intent. The other members of the Lan family were the same. However, as they were emitting killing intent, their eyes were also filled with fear. This was because they had already learned that some of the great emperors of the Lan family had been killed by Lu Ming on the Void Island. After all, there were many people who were still alive in the heaven realm. When those people came out, they immediately passed the news to the Lan family. The upper echelons of the Lan family were shocked when they heard this news. They immediately gathered the upper echelons and the Yen family's Celestial the Arch for a discussion. Master, what should we do now? Someone asked Lan Cheng. Kill him. We must kill him. We can't let Lu Ming grow. Otherwise, we'll all die. Lan Cheng said coldly. Foolish. Right at this moment, an aged voice sounded out, causing the expressions of everyone present to change. In the next moment, a white-haired old man in coarse clothes appeared in the hall. Everyone in the Lan family quickly stood up and bowed. We pay our respects to the ancestor. The Yen clan's heavenly emperor also stood up and said, Greetings, exalted celestial. Above the 4-star heavenly emperor, they were known as heavenly venerates. The Lan family's patriarch's gaze swept across the crowd before finally landing on Lan Cheng. Now, you still want to kill Lu Ming? Old ancestor, Lu Ming has killed so many great emperors of the Lan family. How can we not kill him? Moreover, if we let him go on like this, the Lan family will be in danger. Lan Cheng said. Oh, then tell me, how do we kill them? The Lan clan's old ancestor said. How? Lan Cheng was stunned. With Lu Ming's current strength, are you confident in sending a great emperor? If the great emperor wasn't confident, would you and I do it personally? If we make a move and someone notices, will the Celestial the Arch behind Lu Ming go crazy? Also, everyone in the heaven realm now knows that Lu Ming is an enemy of the Lan family. If Lu Ming is secretly killed, will the others suspect that we did it? I'm afraid that the celestial emperors behind him will also come to our Lan family. The Lan family's ancestors said coldly. Chapter 2380. Lan Cheng's face was deathly pale as he asked, What should we do then, ancestor? Are we just going to sit and wait for death? You're so silly. We're not at the point where we can't rest until one of us dies with Lu Ming. Therefore, we should ask for his forgiveness. We should make peace with him and resolve the grievances between us. This is the best plan. The Lan clan's old ancestor said. We're asking for forgiveness. Lu Ming has killed so many of our people. We're still asking for forgiveness. Lan Cheng shouted in disbelief. Back then, in the Blue Moon City, not only did Lu Ming ruin their plan, but he also killed the Lan family's top genius, Lan Yun, and many of their true emperors in public. And this time, on the Void God Island, Lu Ming had killed many great emperors from the Lan clan. The Lan family had suffered heavy losses. Now, the Lan family actually wanted to ask Lu Ming for forgiveness? They found it hard to accept. If we don't do this, do you have any better ideas? The Lan family's ancestors said coldly. Lan Cheng and the others looked confused. Indeed, other than that, did they have any better ideas? Lu Ming is a world-shaking genius with unparalleled destiny. He's the main character who suppresses an era. Such a person has appeared in history before. Once you make an enemy of such a person, you have to kill him before he grows up. Otherwise, you'll be the one who dies. Now, Lu Ming has already become powerful and he has a large number of powerhouses behind him. At this point, it's unwise to make an enemy of him. It's foolish and suicidal. The best strategy now is to resolve the grudges with him. Only then can the Lan family continue to survive. Otherwise, the Lan family will be like those forces that have been destroyed and will disappear forever in the long river of history. Pass on my order. Prepare a valuable gift and ask for Lu Ming's forgiveness. The Lan family's patriarch immediately gave the order. One day, Lu Ming was cultivating when the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor came to look for him. The Hengyu Heavenly Emperor looked at Lu Ming with a strange expression. "Senior Hengyu, what's the matter?" Lu Ming's hair stood on end under the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor's gaze. "Haha, of course it's something good. Just now, the Lan family and Lan Qing asked me to pass on a message to you. The Lan family and Yen family want to apologize to you and prepare a generous gift for your forgiveness. They want to resolve their grudges with you," Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said with a smile. "What?" Lu Ming was stunned when he heard that. His expression turned strange. He did not expect that the Lan family would actually ask for his forgiveness and resolve their grudges. He had thought that the Lan family would secretly send people to kill him. The Lan family's people are quite bold. Lu Ming smiled. It was obvious that the Lan family had already found out about the incident on the Void God Island. They must have been shocked by his improvement speed. Lu Ming's rate of improvement was too terrifying. If this continued, it would not be long before he became an unparalleled figure. The Lan family was afraid. I didn't expect that the Lan family would have such a day. This is a big matter. Lu Ming, what does he plan to do? Do you accept or not?" Heavenly Emperor Hengyu said with a smile. "Since they're so sincere, why not accept it? However, I have conditions. Senior Hengyu, please help me pass a message to the Lan family. It's fine if they want to apologize and resolve the grudges, but I have 2 conditions. First, the Lan and Yen families prepare 500 chaos gems. Second, the Lan family and the Yen family will announce this to the world. Then, in Two World City, they will publicly apologize to me. If you can fulfill these 2 conditions, I'll agree to it. Otherwise, there's no need to talk," Lu Ming said. To be honest, Lu Ming was not interested in the 500 chaos gems. He had more than 20,000 chaos gems on him and more than 20,000 primordial chaos stones. 500 chaos gems were just a drop in the bucket. However, 500 chaos gems were nothing to Lu Ming. It was enough to make the Lan family and the Yen family bleed. I'll tell them your conditions now. One really want to know their expressions." Heavenly Emperor Hengyu laughed heartily before turning around to leave. Lan Cheng's furious roar came from the Lan family's main hall. 500 chaos gems? Why doesn't he just rob someone? Also, tell the whole world and ask for forgiveness in public. He can dream on. Where will the face of our Lan family be in the future? Lan Cheng's eyes were blood red, like a crazy lion. The Yen clan Heavenly Emperor's expression was not any better. The other members of the Lan family also had ugly expressions, but they didn't say anything. Now, did they still have a way out? The strong preyed on the weak, who told them to be weak. Agree to his request. The Lan clan's ancestor coldly spoke. "Old ancestor," Lan Qing roared. He was extremely unwilling and his eyes were red. "If you want to die, don't drag the Lan family down with you." The Lan family's ancestor shot a cold glance at Lan Qing. Lan Qing immediately shut his mouth. His chest heaved up and down rapidly. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. Of course, he didn't want to die. As a heavenly emperor, he had no disasters and tribulations. His lifespan was endless. How could he want to die? Previously, he just couldn't let go of his face. "What do you say?" The Lan family's patriarch turned to the Yen family's Celestial the Arch. "Whatever the Lan clan does, the Yen clan will do." The Yen clan Celestial the Arch sighed. "All right. Spread the word that the Lan family will seek Lu Ming's forgiveness in Two World City 10 days later and resolve our grudges with him. The Lan family's patriarch gave the order. Then, a piece of news spread like a whirlwind in the heaven realm, causing a great shock. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Lan family and the Yen family actually wanted to apologize to Lu Ming in public and resolve their grudges. An ancient family with an unparalleled expert backing them up had to ask for forgiveness from a junior. This had never happened since ancient times. In the heavenly realm, there seemed to be an earthquake of more than a dozen magnitude in the Taiqing heavenly region. Everyone was discussing this matter. There were also many people who rushed to Two World City, wanting to witness this with their own eyes. Countless people gathered in Two World City. Soon, the time that both sides agreed on arrived. On this day, a huge public square in Two World City was filled with people. Countless figures had gathered. The human race, as well as the divine beasts and other races, had all transformed into human forms to watch the show. Damn, Lu Ming is really awesome. If I can reach his level, I will die without regrets. In the crowd, the unscrupulous monk chanted the name of Buddha and said enviously, "Master, aren't monks supposed to be emotionless and not care about fame and fortune?" Someone asked. "That's the other monks, not me." The monk was very thick-skinned. Around them, Long Chen, Feng Ling, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others looked at them with disdain. They had also heard the news and came to watch the show. They also gathered with Lu Ming. "Lu Ming is here!" Someone shouted, and everyone looked in one direction. On the other side, Lu Ming stepped through the air and landed on the square. At this moment, Lu Ming was the focus of everyone's attention. "Brother Lu Ming!" A figure flashed and Bubbles appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder. After not seeing each other for so many years, Bubbles finally seemed to have grown up a little. She looked like she was 4 or 5 years old and was extremely cute. Chapter 2381. I haven't seen you for many years. Your cultivation has improved quite quickly. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' head. After not seeing each other for many years, Lu Ming realized that Bubbles' cultivation was almost at the peak of the true emperor stage. There were not many people in the younger generation in the heaven realm who could match her cultivation. This cultivation speed was already very terrifying. Of course, it was still incomparable to Dandan. After all, Dandan was the divine turtle from the ancient times. Although Bubbles was one of the top 10 war beasts, she was a newborn and had to rely on herself to comprehend everything. I can't be compared to brother Lu Ming. The bubble hung on Lu Ming's neck and swayed. The Lan family and the Yen family are here. At this moment, a voice was heard. Many people looked in the same direction. A group of people flew over from the other side. The one leading them was the Lan family's old ancestor, a peerless expert. Behind the Lan family patriarch was the patriarch of the Lan family, Lan Cheng, and the celestial the arch of the Yen family. Behind them were some higher-ups of the two families. Almost all the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were present. They landed on the square and walked toward Lu Ming. The Lan family's patriarch's face was full of smiles. He cupped his fists at Lu Ming and said, "We're late. Brother Lu Ming, please forgive us." "You're welcome," Lu Ming said with a faint smile on his face. "I'll cut to the chase. I'm here today to apologize to little brother Lu Ming. All these years, the Lan family has gone too far in certain aspects and offended little brother Lu Ming. One hope that little brother Lu Ming can forgive us." The Lan clan's ancestor cupped his fists. Although they knew that the Lan family would apologize, many people were still stunned when they saw the patriarch of the Lan family talking to Lu Ming in an affable manner. They thought that they were in a dream. One should know that the Lan family's patriarch was a peerless expert, a 4-star heavenly emperor. Such a person was already standing at the peak with shocking combat strength. But now, he was bowing down and apologizing to a junior. It was rare since ancient times. However, Lu Ming did not want to accept the other party's apology so easily. "Oh, I'd like to know, in what way have you offended me? Clan head Lan, why don't you help me memorize it?" Lu Ming sneered and looked at Lan City. Lan Cheng's face turned ugly. However, he still squeezed out a smile and stepped forward. The Lan family has indeed offended brother Lu Ming in some ways in the past. Please forgive us. Forgive? Let me ask you, in what way have you offended me? Tell me clearly, do you not understand? Lu Ming said coldly. Lan Cheng's heart was filled with anger. If any other junior dared to speak to him like this, he would have slapped them to death. However, he did not dare to do so to Lu Ming. He dared to bet that there were many heavenly emperors in the vicinity. If he made a move, he would be the one to be slapped to death. In the end, he could only suppress his anger and answer honestly. Back then, it was the Lan family's prodigy, Lan Yun, who offended little brother Lu Ming and targeted him time and time again. That's why both parties were at odds with each other. Lan Qing answered honestly. What else? Lu Ming continued asking. Also, back then, one was blinded by greed. I coveted your indestructible ancient scroll, and I sent people to kill you on the battlefield outside Two World City. Lan Qing gritted his teeth and told him about this matter. He knew that Lu Ming wanted them to apologize in public because he wanted to make everything public. If he did not say it today, Lu Ming would definitely not let it go. As soon as he said this, the crowd was in an uproar. Everyone suddenly realized. Back then, the Lan family said that Lu Ming killed Heaven Realm powerhouses on the battlefield of true emperors in order to snatch the treasure. All of this was false. It was all because of the Yen family's Celestial the Arch in Lan City, who coveted Lu Ming's indestructible ancient scroll and wanted to kill him. Despicable, truly despicable. So this is the Lan family's true colors. Despicable scoundrels. We were all deceived by them. I knew it. Lu Ming would not do such a thing. Many people roared and glared at the Lan family. Lan Cheng gritted his teeth. However, he could only swallow this bitter fruit. It was his fault for offending a pervert like Lu Ming. The Lan family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. The Yen family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. In Lan City, the Yen family's heavenly emperor cupped his fists and saluted Lu Ming. Brother Lu Ming, this is a small gift from the Lan family and the Yen family. Please accept it. The Lan family's patriarch smiled apologetically and took out a storage ring. With a wave of his hand, the storage ring flew slowly towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and took it. He scanned it with his spiritual senses and found that there were exactly 500 chaos gems inside. Remember, if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. One can write off the past, but if you offend me again, 111 definitely exterminate your entire family. Lu Ming put away the storage ring and turned to leave. He did not look at the Lan family and Yen family anymore. Wang Lin, Longchen, brother, let's go for a drink. Today's harvest is not bad. Lu Ming looked at Longchen, Feng Ling and the rest. 111 drink, 111 definitely drink, and I'll drink to my heart's content. The unscrupulous monk was the first to cry out. What are you drinking, monk? Desolate Power looked down on them. Everyone laughed. Amidst the laughter, the group of young people left. Lu Ming bought a large amount of fine wine and came to his residence. He took out a lot of divine beast flesh. Over the years, Lu Ming had hoarded a lot of divine beast flesh and blood, all of which were at least overlord tier. Everyone started to work and soon, the smell of meat filled the air. Everyone was eating meat and drinking wine, chatting about the interesting things they had encountered over the years. During this period, Lu Ming took out a large number of resources and distributed them to everyone. For example, supreme-grade raw gemstones, primordial chaos stones, and chaos stones. The crowd started to reject it because it was too precious. However, when Lu Ming took out a bunch of them, they did not reject him. They accepted some from each of them. These resources could indeed greatly speed up their cultivation. It wasn't until the evening of the second day that the crowd dispersed. I should return to the primordial realm, Lu Ming muttered. He then looked for Heavenly Emperor Hengyu and asked for the way back to the primordial realm. It was relatively easy to go to the primordial realm in the Taiching Heavenly region, as there were many passages. Two World City had such a passage. Alone, Lu Ming and the Hengyu Heavenly Emperor arrived at a valley, which was guarded by powerful cultivators. The space in the valley was extremely unstable. Spatial cracks kept appearing. One could clearly see that behind the spatial cracks was a void passage. The passage was not large, but it was enough to accommodate dozens of people at the same time. Senior Hengyu, take care. Lu Ming cupped his fists and stepped into the space crack. In a flash, he was in the void channel. Lu Ming stepped forward. He seemed to see an endless void passing by him. After an unknown period of time, a bright light appeared in front of him. Lu Ming rushed out and found himself standing in the sky. Below him was the boundless earth. Primordial realm, Lu Ming had returned. Chapter 2382. Lu Ming stood high in the sky and looked around. All he could see were vast mountains. According to Senior Hengyu, this should be Yuan Mountain. I just don't know where it is. Let's find a place with people and ask. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's figure moved and he broke open space. He shuttled through the void at an extremely fast speed. A few minutes later, Lu Ming saw a city. He went in and asked around, only to discover that this was the north of Mount Yuan. Lu Ming found a large force nearby and borrowed their teleportation array to head to one of the 9 great holy lands of Mount Yuan, the ancient Moon Holy Land. It did not take long for Lu Ming to return to the ancient Moon Holy Land. When Lu Ming walked out of the teleportation array outside the ancient Moon Sanctuary, he immediately caused a commotion and was recognized by the people nearby. Lu Ming was too famous in the ancient Moon Holy Land. Back then, Lu Ming had joined forces with more than 10 powerful forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land to destroy the Wind Clan in one fell swoop. There were also the Sirius Tower, the Golden Crow Clan, the Wan family, and other powerful forces, causing the power structure of the ancient Moon Holy Land to reshuffle and changing the situation. Lu Ming was well known in the ancient Moon Holy Land. However, after that, Lu Ming disappeared. Now, after so many years, Lu Ming's reappearance naturally caused a stir. Not long after, all the forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land knew that Lu Ming had returned. At this moment, Lu Ming had already arrived at the Dian Elixir Palace and met with Uncle Kong. After not seeing him for so many years, Uncle Kong seemed to have aged even more. His face was filled with wrinkles. Uncle Kong's cultivation base should be at the 2-star Great Emperor realm, but according to him, he had been seriously injured in the last heavenly tribulation, and his origin had been injured. He had yet to recover, so his battle prowess was only slightly stronger than a 1-star Great Emperor, but not by much. Otherwise, the Emperor of the Daoist Heaven sect wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant in front of Uncle Kong. And now, there weren't many years left until Uncle Kong's next heavenly tribulation. With Uncle Kong's current condition, he wouldn't be able to pass it. Hall Master, your cultivation. The moment Uncle Kong saw Lu Ming, he felt that Lu Ming was extraordinary. Although Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the peak of the true emperor stage, his qi and blood were extremely thick. He was like a prehistoric giant beast, giving off a terrifying feeling. Even Uncle Kong could feel the pressure. This caused Uncle Kong to be extremely shocked, but at the same time, he was overjoyed. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the happier he would be. Uncle Kong, I went to the heaven realm a while ago and had a fortuitous encounter. I cultivated an immemorial body cultivator, and my fleshly body is now equivalent to the Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming gave a simple explanation and Uncle Kong was even more delighted. Uncle Kong, the MU clan hasn't come looking for trouble all these years, has it? Lu Ming asked. Back then, a great emperor from the MU clan had died here, and he had always been afraid that the MU clan would come looking for trouble. The MU family is here to find trouble and avenge their emperor. However, a powerful force in the Divine Destiny land has intervened. The MU family has been holding back all these years. Uncle Kong explained. Lu Ming nodded. The MU family. It's fine if they don't come. But if they don't give up, I can only make a trip to the MU family. With that, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He handed it to Uncle Kong and said, Uncle Kong, this is for you. This is... Uncle Kong took it and scanned it with his spiritual sense. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. A fragment of the Great Path. This is a fragment of the Great Path. Hallmaster, It's a waste to give such a treasure to an old man like me. You should keep it for yourself. Uncle Kong quickly passed the storage ring to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Uncle Kong, please accept it. One have a lot of Dao fragments. One have enough for myself. However, Uncle Kong still wanted to return the fragment to Lu Ming. But Lu Ming was determined. In the end, Uncle Kong accepted it. Lu Ming gave Uncle Kong a total of 18 great Dao fragments, which was enough for Uncle Kong to break through to the 3-star Great Emperor or even the 4-star Great Emperor. As long as Uncle Kong's cultivation broke through, the injuries in his body would naturally heal, and he would be able to pass the next heavenly tribulation with 100% certainty. After that, he chatted with Uncle Kong for a while. The next day, Lu Ming went to meet some old friends. Lu Ming still had some friends in the ancient Moon Holy Land, such as Mu Qingxue, Yi Dongfang, and so on. Their talents were limited and they did not go to the Heaven Realm. Lu Ming stayed in the ancient Moon Holy Land for more than 10 days to talk about martial arts with his good friends. With Lu Ming's current realm and understanding of the laws, he was unfathomable to Yi Dongfang and the rest. Lu Ming's casual advice could enlighten them and they benefited a lot. More than 10 days later, Lu Ming left some resources for Yi Dongfang and the rest, then bade farewell to Uncle Kong and left the ancient Moon Sanctuary, heading towards the Tsang state. The most important thing on his return trip was to return to the Azure continent and take a look at the Divine Wilderness continent. After that, he would move his family and friends to another cultivation place. A few days after Lu Ming returned to the ancient Moon Holy Land, the news spread to the Heng family and He family of the Heaven Emperor City, as well as the Daoist Heaven sect of the ancient Sun Holy Land. The He family and the Heng family had been mortal enemies, but now they had gathered together to discuss something. Emperor He, Emperor Heng, and Emperor Tianluo were sitting in a great hall of the Heng family. You too, Lu Ming has disappeared for many years. I'm afraid it's not good for us to see him now that he has suddenly reappeared, said the Emperor of the Heng family with a serious expression. Lu Ming can't become a celestial the arch. He's not afraid of himself. However, it's troublesome that he can control the celestial thearch's physical body. The Tianluo Emperor said. He had seen the power of the heavenly emperor's corporeal body before. Even the 2-star great emperor of the Mu family had been killed. Then what should we do? Back then, we all wanted to kill him. We are already mortal enemies with Lu Ming. He will definitely not let us off. The great emperor of the He clan said. The three of them had a serious look on their faces. For a moment, they didn't know what to do. The three of them were 1-star great emperors, but Lu Ming controlled the celestial thearch's physical body and could even kill 2-star great emperors. Even if they joined forces, they would still be in danger. At this moment, someone outside reported that there was important news. The great emperor of the Heng family had asked that person to come in. Master, young Master Xinghe is back. An old man came in and said excitedly, Xinghe is back. Hurry please. Emperor Heng was overjoyed. The Heng Xing River led to the Heaven Realm, and he had been gone for decades. Now that he had returned, he didn't know what realm he would be at. The emperor of the Heng clan was filled with anticipation. The three of them went out together and soon saw the galaxy. A person from the Star River stood with his hands behind his back, giving off a feeling of superiority. The 3 great emperors are here, just nice. When he saw the 3 great emperors, Xing Chen only nodded slightly. He no longer had the respect he had in the past. He had seen too many great emperors in the Heaven Realm, including many heavenly emperors. Naturally, he did not have that kind of respect for great emperors. The 3 emperors of the Heng family were not surprised. When Lu Ming saw the galaxy, he was shocked. True Emperor, Xinghe, you've broken through to the true Emperor realm? The Heng clan emperor said excitedly. I just broke through not long ago. Xinghe nodded with a faint sense of pride on his face. Good huh? The emperor of the Heng family laughed and was extremely excited. On the side, the great emperors of the He family and the Tianluo emperor were filled with envy. To reach the true emperor realm at such a young age, such talent was simply astonishing. In the future, breaking through to the great emperor realm was a sure thing, or even higher. How could people not be envious of the Heng family for having such a genius? Chapter 2383, Xinghe, Sun Zongqiong, didn't come back with you? The Tianluo emperor said with some anticipation. He was looking forward to seeing his grandson Luo Kangqiang's level. Luo Zongqiong is dead, said the Hengxing River. What? Emperor Tianluo's heart trembled as his pupils contracted. The next moment, his eyes turned red as he growled, Zongqiong is dead? How was that possible? How did he die? He was killed by Lu Ming. In the galaxy. He did not lie about this. Back then, in the Yaoguang ancient city, Luo Zongqiong was indeed killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Lu Ming, Lu Ming again. Emperor Tianluo roared. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with endless killing intent. Lu Ming, the two talents of the Daoist heaven sect, had both died in his hands. He had also been injured because of Lu Ming. Damn it, damn it. The emperor of Tianluo roared in his heart. Of course, he would not care why Luo Zongqiong and the others died at Lu Ming's hands. Today, all of you are gathered here because of Lu Ming, right? One heard that Lu Ming has returned to the primordial realm, right? The galaxy continued. Return to the primordial realm? What did that mean? Could it be that Lu Ming has been to the heaven realm before? Emperor Heng's expression changed. Not bad. Xinghe nodded. How is that possible? Didn't they say that Lu Ming can't become a divine emperor and can't go to the heaven realm? Why did he go to the heaven realm? The great emperors of the Heng clan and the He clan were extremely astonished. I don't know how he got to the heaven realm, but he did. Otherwise, how could Luo Zongqiong die in his hands? Moreover, Lu Ming has already become a divine emperor in the heaven realm. The river channel of the eternal star had a gloomy expression as he said this. What? Lu Ming has become a martial emperor. How is that possible? He has mastered multiple laws and different ultimate maxims at the same time. Even the celestial the Arch said that he can't become a martial emperor. How can he? The three heavenly emperors from the Heng clan cried out in shock. Not only has he become a great emperor, but Lu Ming's current strength is extremely shocking. He can already fight a great emperor. Xinghe said coldly. This time, the emperors from the Heng family, He family, and Tianluo all gasped in shock. Not only had Lu Ming become a great emperor, but he could also fight against a great emperor. What kind of freak was he? Their hearts were in turmoil, and they could not calm down. What to do? Emperor Heng and the others started to get anxious. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the more dangerous it would be for them. Did Lu Ming come back this time to find trouble with them? The more they thought about it, the more anxious they became. In fact, the galaxy was still hiding some things. For example, Lu Ming's combat strength. This was because there were rumors recently that Lu Ming's combat strength was already able to kill a 4-star great emperor. The Heng family's great emperor and the rest were afraid that they would be frightened by such terrifying strength. Lu Ming is too abnormal. If he continues to grow, we'll be the ones to die in the future. We have to get rid of him before he's ridiculously strong. The eyes of the galaxy flickered with a cold light. Get rid of him? Now that Lu Ming's combat strength is comparable to a great emperor and he has the celestial thearch's physical body, how can we get rid of him with our strength? The emperor of the Heng clan said anxiously. Emperor He and Emperor Tianluo were the same. They all wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, they could not do it with their abilities. We can find help. Isn't Lu Ming a mortal enemy of the Mu family in the divine fated land? We can use the Mu family's power to get rid of Lu Ming. In the galaxy. Their eyes lit up. Right. Back then, the Mu family sent a great emperor to the ancient moon sanctuary to kill him. Unfortunately, he was killed by Lu Ming with the celestial emperor's body. Moreover, the Mu family's peerless genius, Mu Yang, also died at Lu Ming's hands. I'm afraid the Mu family wants to get rid of Lu Ming more than we do. If we contact the Mu family, they will definitely take action. Emperor Tianluo said excitedly. Luo Zongqiong was killed by Lu Ming. Emperor Tianluo's killing intent towards Lu Ming was extremely strong. Does Lu Ming have any backing in the heaven realm? Will he cause any trouble after killing him? Emperor Heng was more meticulous. Don't worry. I have a master in the heaven realm. He is a strong man in the heavenly emperor realm. It is not convenient for him to take action, but he will help us clean up the mess. Nothing will happen. In the galaxy. What? Xinghe, you've taken a celestial emperor as your master? Good ha. The emperor of the Heng family laughed and was extremely excited. The great emperors of the He family and Tianluo could only be jealous. Since the master of the Eternal Star River was the celestial the Arch, they were much more confident. They began to make preparations and contacted the Mu clan to discuss how to kill Lu Ming. That night, the Hengxing River came to a secret place in the heavenly emperor city and met an old man. The old man was the master of the Star River, a heavenly emperor powerhouse. In the heaven realm, this old man was known as the Nine-Demon Celestial Emperor. Is everything done? The Nine-Demon Celestial Emperors asked. It's done. The great emperors of the Heng family, He family, and Daoist heaven sect will join forces with the Mu family to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy. That's good. The Nine-Demon Celestial Emperors nodded in satisfaction. Master, Lu Ming's performance on the Void God Island was truly shocking. With his current strength, even with the help of the Mu family, it would not be easy to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy. I didn't intend for them to kill Lu Ming. I just wanted them to test if there's a celestial the Arch following Lu Ming. If there's no celestial the Arch, I'll kill him myself. The Nine-Demon Celestial Emperor said, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Master, there are more than a dozen celestial thearchs behind Lu Ming. Even if we kill him, I'm afraid those celestial thearchs won't let us off. The Heng family will probably be destroyed as well. Said the galaxy, a little conflicted. Foolish, still so soft-hearted even now. How can there be no sacrifice if you want to achieve great things? Is the Heng family more important or is your own future more important? The Nine-Demon Celestial Emperor berated. Xing's expression changed, revealing a hint of ruthlessness. I understand, Master. Yes. In order to accomplish great things, a little sacrifice is inevitable. Lu Ming is blessed with great fortune. Along the way, he must have encountered countless fortuitous encounters. As long as I kill him and obtain his fortuitous encounters, I can extract the indestructible ancient scroll from his soul. Then, the two of us can find a place to hide. Who will be able to find us? Well, hide and cultivate, and well, fight to the death with the evil god tribe and the heaven realm. As long as we master our divine arts and possess unrivaled strength, no matter which side controls this world, we'll have a place to stand. The Nine-Demon Celestial Emperor said, the cold light in his eyes even more intense. Master, disciple will listen to Master's orders. Xing Chen's eyes were also filled with anticipation. Lu Ming, all your fortuitous encounters will be mine. The galaxy roared in its heart. Chapter 2384. A few days later, Emperor Heng, Emperor Tianluo, and the others contacted the Mu clan, and the two sides naturally hit it off. However, the Mu family appeared to be more cautious. They planned to invite the assassins of the Death God Nation to kill Lu Ming. As such, Emperor Heng, Emperor Tianluo, and the others were naturally overjoyed. With the Death God Nation taking action, it would save them a lot of trouble. Naturally, Lu Ming did not know about all this. He stayed in the ancient Moon Holy Land for more than 10 days, then headed towards the Azure Continent. With his speed, he soon arrived in the Azure Continent. Now, the entire Tsang region was under the control of the Dragon God Valley, and it was a scene of prosperity. Lu Ming flew directly to Dragon God Valley. At the moment, a conference was being held in Dragon God Valley. At the peak of a mountain, there was an empty square. In the middle of the square, there was a fighting stage. On it, two figures were fighting fiercely. If Lu Ming was here, he would definitely recognize the figure on the fighting ring. It was Fatty Kong Jin. The other person was Lu Ming's senior brother, Tianchi. The two's attacks were both direct, fighting head-on. Boom, boom. One of them was holding a battle axe, while the other was holding a giant hammer. They kept bombarding, triggering a terrifying force. Kong Jin's cultivation base had improved greatly after not seeing him for so many years. He had already broken through to the Great Sage realm. However, Tian Chui was naturally stronger than Kong Jin. He seemed to be at ease as he completely suppressed Kong Jin. There were many people sitting on the edge of the fighting ring. It was Lu Ming's master, the Cloud Dragon Valley master. There was also Xiel Wan from the Divine Wilderness continent, the Nine Suns Supreme, Yen Kuangtu, and the others. The Dragon God Valley had sent people to the Divine Wilderness mainland, and the two places had already been connected. Kong Jin and Tian Chui exchanged a few dozen moves. Kong Jin was completely suppressed. In the end, he was struck by Tian Chui's hammer and was sent rolling on the ground, his fat shaking non-stop. I'm done. I'm not your match. Let's fight again after a while. Kong Jin shouted. Weren't you very arrogant before? Ha! Tian Chui laughed. You've been cultivating in the Yuan continent since you were young. Isn't it normal for your cultivation to be stronger than mine? Kong Jin pursed his lips. Fatty, you got beaten up, didn't you? At this moment, a clear and bright laughter came from the sky. Upon hearing this laughter, Fatty's eyes widened. Then he was overjoyed and shouted, Lu Ming! Su Lu Ming, where have you been all these years? At the same time, the eyes of Tian Chui, the Cloud Dragon Valley master, Xiel Wan, Xia Zhiyang, and the others also lit up as they looked up into the sky. There was no one in the sky. However, the next moment, a figure flashed and Lu Ming's figure appeared out of thin air. No one could see clearly how Lu Ming appeared. Lu Ming! It's really Lu Ming! Many people were overjoyed and rose into the air. Master, thank you, Senior Jiang, Big Brother Yen. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed to everyone. Lu Ming, where have you been? You've been gone for more than 20 years and you're nowhere to be seen. Kong Jin pursed his lips and walked over to give Lu Ming a punch. I went to the Heaven Realm, and now am back to see you. Lu Ming smiled. Heaven Realm. Kong Jin's eyes lit up. You actually went to the Heaven Realm. How is it? Are there a lot of Heaven Realm experts? There are naturally many experts. Martial emperors are everywhere. Lu Ming said. The others all revealed looks of anticipation. Ming, how's your cultivation? The Cloud Dragon Valley master asked. Many people also looked at Lu Ming. They had heard rumors that Lu Ming could not become a martial emperor. Don't worry, master, I've already become an emperor. Lu Ming said with a smile. All right. The Cloud Dragon Valley master was overjoyed. Congratulations, Alliance master. Xiel Wan, Xia Zhiyang, and the others were also overjoyed. The scene was filled with joy. All right, where are my parents and the rest? Are they still in the Divine Wilderness continent? Lu Ming asked. No, they came to the Yuan continent. I don't know why, but the passageway in Nine Dragons suddenly collapsed. The original qi in the Divine Wilderness continent has become thin again. Now, many people from the Dragon Alliance have come to the Yuan continent to cultivate. Xiel Wan explained. Lu Ming nodded. This was within his expectations. Soon after, the news of Lu Ming's return spread quickly. Dragon God Valley was bustling with activity. The people from Dragon God Valley and the Dragon Alliance had also gathered. Not long after, Lu Ming met his parents and some other acquaintances. I've come back this time to bring you to another place with better conditions to cultivate. It was still the same square, but this time, countless people had gathered. Lu Ming stood at the highest point and said, Change location? Ming, where do you plan to go? The Cloud Dragon Valley master asked. The head of the 9 sacred lands of Mount Yuan, Heavenly Emperor City. Lu Ming spoke word by word. The cultivation environment in the Azure region was still too poor. This time, Lu Ming had returned to the Heavenly Emperor City. Lu Ming would get rid of the Heng family and the He family in Heaven Emperor City and use them to settle the people of Dragon God Valley and Dragon Alliance. Heavenly Emperor City. The Cloud Dragon Valley master's eyes lit up. Such a sacred land was simply unimaginable to them. Lu Ming could actually bring them to the heavenly emperor city? Now, everyone can enter my small world. As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, a small world emerged in his dantian. Lu Ming was surrounded by the dazzling divine light of the world. World divine light, true emperor realm. This is a true emperor. The true emperor of the legends. The scene was in an uproar. Everyone was shocked and ecstatic. Lu Ming's father, Lu Yuntian, and mother, Li Ping, were especially overjoyed. The higher Lu Ming's achievements were, the happier they would be. To the people of the Azure Continent or the Divine Wilderness Continent, a void emperor was a supreme existence, let alone a true emperor. In the past, they had never even heard of such a thing. The small world grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it became 100 miles wide and covered the sky above the square. Let's go in. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master, Xiao Wan, and the others were the first to rush into Lu Ming's small world. Behind them, Lu Ming's parents and the others also rushed in. Many figures rushed into Lu Ming's small world and disappeared. Not long after, hundreds of thousands of people entered Lu Ming's small world. When everyone had entered Lu Ming's small world, the small world shrank and flew back into Lu Ming's dantian. Lu Ming's soul force was condensed in the small world, and it was no different from a real person. What a rich origin energy. The origin energy here is even richer than the one in the Azure region. This must be Lu Ming's small world. It's so vast. Everyone looked at it carefully and flew around curiously. Lu Ming's small world was 700,000 miles wide. Although it was considered small and not worth mentioning compared to the big world outside, it was more than enough for him to cultivate here. When Lu Ming led the group to the path understanding ancient tree, everyone was shocked. This was because their cultivation speed had skyrocketed here. Some of them had comprehended something on the spot and made a breakthrough in their cultivation. Holy land for cultivation. Many people didn't want to go out. Chapter 2385. After that, everyone began to make arrangements. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley had sent some people to collect some of the Dragon God's resources in the Azure region and put them into Lu Ming's small world. For example, he planted some spiritual herbs and sacred herbs in Lu Ming's small world. Now, Lu Ming's small world had taken shape. After decades of reproduction, green grass was everywhere and the trees had grown up. Some of them were even more than 100 meters tall. There were also all kinds of spiritual and sacred herbs among the mountains. Lu Ming had even bought a large number of low-level demonic beasts and sent them to his small world, making it look lively. It seemed like it was no different from a normal world. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master left a small group of people behind in the Azure region. The rest entered Lu Ming's small world, planning to move. After he was done with the Azure continent, Lu Ming made another trip to the Divine Wilderness Continent. Lu Ming's appearance naturally caused a stir in the Divine Wilderness Continent. Now that the Divine Wilderness Continent was completely under the control of the Dragon Alliance, Lu Ming asked the higher-ups of the Dragon Alliance to gather all the talented people in the Alliance. After asking for everyone's opinion, those who were willing to leave with Lu Ming entered Lu Ming's small world. Naturally, most of them were willing to leave. On the path of cultivation, everyone wanted to climb higher mountains, leave the divine wilderness, and enter a better place for cultivation. Who would not be willing? Once everything was ready, Lu Ming left the divine wilderness continent and returned to the Azure continent. He did not even look back as he headed towards the ancient Moon Holy Land. He planned to first go to ancient Moon Holy Land, then head to Heaven Emperor City to deal with the Hung clan and He clan. However, just as Lu Ming was about to approach the ancient Moon Sanctuary, his gaze suddenly flickered. This was because Lu Ming could sense a cold killing intent in the sky. At this moment, a sword light suddenly pierced out of the void at an extremely fast speed. This sword was a one-hit kill. It was fast, accurate, and ruthless. Its power was extremely strong. The sword light contained the aura of the great Tao. The assassin was a great emperor. As soon as the sword light appeared, A terrifying murderous aura gushed out, and the sword light was already approaching Lu Ming's glabella. However, Lu Ming's expression was very calm. He had limited the timing of his attack. Before the other party's sword light could reach his forehead, he had already caught the sword light between his 2 fingers. Then, the sword light was fixed in place, unable to move forward. The person who had stabbed out with the sword was a man in black. He wore a mask on his face, the mask of the Grim Reaper. At this moment, the black-clothed man's pupils contracted sharply. The sure kill move that he had been preparing for a long time was caught between 2 of Lu Ming's fingers. No matter how he unleashed his power, Lu Ming's fingers and his long sword could not move at all. What a terrifying strength! He understood that Lu Ming's ability was too terrifying. It did not match the information they had received. Retreat! He let out a loud roar, then let go of the long sword in his hand and retreated as fast as he could. He had the cultivation of a great emperor and he was extremely fast. However, Lu Ming was faster than him. Lu Ming's figure flashed and appeared behind him. He extended a palm and clasped his neck. A terrifying power surged into the man in black. His body was sore and he could not move at all. At this moment he was extremely frightened. His cultivation base was 1-star Great Emperor. With his cultivation level, he could not put up any resistance at all in Lu Ming's hands. How was this possible? How could Lu Ming's ability be so strong? The Death God Nation, it's too late to leave now. Lu Ming sneered and looked ahead. Then, the muscles in his body trembled and his figure burst out. In an instant, he had covered an unknown distance. There was also a man in black in front of him. He was wearing a mask of the Grim Reaper and was fleeing frantically. This person's cultivation was stronger than the man in black in Lu Ming's hands. He was actually a 2-star Great Emperor. However, he didn't dare to stay any longer. A 1-star Great Emperor was as weak as a baby in Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming's strength was definitely far above that of a 2-star Great Emperor. He could only run, or else he would die. However, escaping was also a dead end. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch and a terrifying fist force crushed the void. The man in black, who was running away, felt a fatal threat. He exploded with all his strength and slashed backward. This sword was not weak, but it could not withstand a single blow from Lu Ming's fist force. The fist force crushed over and the sword chi collapsed. The black-clothed man's body also exploded under this attack and turned into ashes. A 2-star Great Emperor was killed in 1 hit. The eyes of the man in black in Lu Ming's hands widened. Damn it, I've been tricked. The man roared in his heart. They had received news that Lu Ming's strength was only equivalent to that of a 1-star Great Emperor. However, he had a celestial thearch's physical body, which was extremely powerful. However, in the eyes of these assassins, what they valued was the other party's own strength. External forces were useless. They could kill in 1 strike, but even with the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body, they couldn't use it. However, Lu Ming's strength was far beyond that of a 1-star Great Emperor. Even a 3-star Great Emperor wasn't that powerful. He was practically a high-tier Great Emperor. The Death God Nation. Who sent you to kill me? Lu Ming looked at the man in black in his hands and said coldly, "Don't even think about getting any information from me." The man in black said, "Oh really? I'm sorry," Lu Ming said indifferently. He used his world energy and the other party's mask turned to dust, revealing a pale middle-aged man's face. Boom! Lu Ming suddenly made a move. The power of the law was like a knife and cut off one of the other party's arms. However, the other party only grunted and didn't even frown. These assassins had gone through strict training and had a tough mind. Moreover, the other party was a great emperor. "You don't have to waste your time, just kill me." The other party looked at Lu Ming coldly. "It's not that easy to die." Lu Ming said coldly, then punched the person's dantian. The terrifying power directly tore the person's small world apart and completely crippled his cultivation. With his cultivation crippled, the man let out a furious roar and glared at Lu Ming with bloodshot eyes. To a great emperor, having his cultivation crippled after a lifetime of bitter cultivation was worse than death. Are you going to tell me or not? Lu Ming said coldly. I won't tell you, just give up. The man in black roared. If you don't tell me, you'll have to search your soul. Having said that, Lu Ming pointed his finger between the other party's eyebrows and a powerful force surged in. He was going to search her soul and find out the secrets she knew. At the same time, Lu Ming wanted to find the headquarters of the Death God Nation and destroy this force in one fell swoop. This was not the first time that this faction had sent people to assassinate him. Back then, before the Battle of the Ten Lands, he had been assassinated by this force and he had almost died. If Xianxia had not given him the scapegoat demon chief, he would have been in real danger. He had long wanted to get rid of this force. Chapter 2386. Lu Ming pointed his finger between the man's eyebrows. A powerful force and Lu Ming's own soul energy surged into the man's sea of consciousness and rushed to his soul to search it. However, when Lu Ming's soul neared the other party's soul, his expression changed. This was because he felt a terrifying dark power near the other party's soul. When Lu Ming's soul force approached, the dark energy burst out and devoured the man's soul. The man in black let out a shrill scream and his body struggled violently. In just a few breaths, his soul had disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming's energy was withdrawn and his expression was a little gloomy. Someone had set up a restriction near the soul of the man in black. Once someone searched his soul, the restriction would explode and destroy the soul of the person being searched. No wonder the Death God Nation was so mysterious. For so many years, no one had been able to find the Death God Nation's headquarters. At this moment, the man in black had completely turned into an idiot. Lu Ming waved his hand and threw the man in black away. He then fell into deep thought. The Death God Nation wouldn't attack me for no reason. Someone must have hired an assassin from the Death God Nation. Who is it? In the primordial realm, the most likely ones are the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect. However, the Death God Nation is a huge force in the land of divine destiny, with many experts. The Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect don't have such power, so the Mu family. Many thoughts ran through Lu Ming's mind as he deduced the matter. However, one can't rule out the possibility that other forces want to get rid of me, or that it's an expert from the Heaven realm who wants to get rid of me. I have to investigate this matter clearly. The Death God Nation failed to kill me this time, but I guess there will be a next time. I'll find someone to help me. At the thought of this, Lu Ming continued to move forward and entered the ancient Moon Holy Land. He returned to the Dian Elixir Palace to let everyone know that he was back. Then he used the Divine Breath technique to change his appearance and left the Dian Elixir Palace. He came to the passage he had returned from the Heaven realm last time. Through the passage, Lu Ming arrived at the Tai Ching Heavenly region and directly sent a voice transmission to Dandan. Dandan was full of tricks and had many means, so she might have a way to find out. At the same time, Lu Ming also sent a voice transmission to Bubbles. Bubbles' current space-time law was already extremely profound, so she might be able to help. Not long after, Dandan and Bubbles arrived one after another. Brother Lu Ming. Bubbles hung around Lu Ming's neck the moment she saw him. Lu Ming, why are you looking for me? Dandan asked casually. It had only been a short time since they last met, but Dandan's cultivation had broken through again and reached 7 stars Great Emperor. I need your help. Lu Ming said. One knew you had something to ask me for help. You've come to the right person. Tell me, what is it? Dandan grinned, looking very proud of herself. Lu Ming immediately told him what had happened. There's actually someone who wants to harm brother Lu Ming. Let's go and destroy them. Bubbles was extremely displeased after hearing that. Brat, you want me to search your soul and find the mastermind behind this and the headquarters of the Death God Nation? Dandan asked. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. It's very difficult to set up a restriction in the soul to search it. Dandan frowned. Didn't you say I found the right person? Lu Ming was full of disdain. Dandan's eyes widened and she said, What? You've underestimated me. Let me tell you, although this matter is difficult, it's not difficult for me. However, I still need the help of this little fellow. Then, Dandan looked at Bubbles. You need Bubbles' help? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right, we'll know when the time comes. Let's go. Dandan said. Wait a minute, just in case, let's get 2 more helpers. Lu Ming said. Then he sent another message. Not long after, the void flickered and 2 figures appeared. The 2 figures were Earth 1 and Thunder 1. Lu Ming was worried that there were powerhouses from the Heaven realm involved. Therefore, he had called for Earth 1 and Thunder 1 just in case. Greetings, young master. Earth 1 and Thunder 1 bowed. Lu Ming immediately told him what had happened. Earth 1, Thunder 1, the 2 of you enter my small world first to avoid alerting the enemy. Lu Ming said. All right. Earth 1 and Thunder 1 nodded and then entered Lu Ming's small world. Lu Ming asked Dandan to enter the small world as well. He brought Bubbles along and returned to the primordial realm through the passage. He returned to the Daoist Elixir Hall quietly. After returning to the Daoist Elixir Palace, Lu Ming stayed for more than 10 days before he set off for the Heavenly Emperor City. He was deliberately giving the other party time to react. Lu Ming swaggered around without hiding his appearance and aura. As expected, he encountered another assassination on the way. This time, the Death God Nation had dispatched 3 experts with shockingly high cultivation. One was a 4-star Great Emperor, while the other 2 were 3-star Great Emperors. It was obvious that the last time the Death God server failed in their assassination attempt, the 2 experts had not returned. This made them cautious, and this time, they sent out 3 experts. Even a 4-star Great Emperor would be in danger if they were to be assassinated by such a lineup. There was a high chance that they would die. Unfortunately, they had encountered Lu Ming. This battle was also a crushing defeat. The 4-star Great Emperor was killed by Lu Ming with a few punches. The 2 3-star Great Emperors were also severely injured by Lu Ming's punches. One of them had his cultivation crippled by Lu Ming. He had all his movements sealed and was thrown on the ground. Lu Ming interrogated the other party. As expected, the other party did not say a word. With a thought, Dandan's figure appeared. Dandan, what should we do? Lu Ming asked. There are restrictions in their souls, so it's very difficult to search their souls. Once any force approaches their souls will self-destruct, so my method doesn't go through their souls. Every living being's brain has countless tiny meridians. Some meridians are called memory meridians and have the ability to remember. My method is to control the person's consciousness through an array and let Bubbles use the time backtrack technique. Through the person's memory nerves, I can see what happened in the past. Dandan explained. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Indeed, this method was definitely feasible. With Bubbles' control over the space-time law, it was not a problem for her to perform time backtrack. You guys. On the side, the 3-star Great Emperor who wasn't crippled was shocked. He wanted to struggle, but he was stomped to death by Dandan. Then, Dandan began to set up the formation. One rune after another entered the other's body. A moment later, the other party's eyes became unfocused, as if he was suffering from dementia. Little guy, attack! Dandan shouted. Chirp, chirp! Bubbles made his move and a powerful time force enveloped the man in black. Then, with a wave of his hand, images appeared in the void. These images were the memories of the other party. For example, the scene of the other party ambushing Lu Ming and the scene of them on their way here. The images seemed to be turning back time. Chapter 2387. Dandan used the formation to control the other party's consciousness. In addition to the Bubbles time backtrack, it projected the other party's memories. It was as if time had turned back as they were displayed one by one. Not long after, Lu Ming saw an image. It was the black-clothed man himself, and he was discussing some matters with a few others. The great emperor of the Heng family, the great emperor of the Luo dynasty. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that a few of them were the great emperors of the Heng family, the great Luo, and the He family. There were 2 other people that Lu Ming did not recognize. Other than them, the remaining people were the men in black from the Death God Nation. It's indeed the people from the Heng and He families. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold glint. Also, the Mu clan. Although there was no sound coming from the memory, he could clearly judge what the other party was saying by the shape of their mouths. Heng family, He family, Daoist heaven sect, Mu family, I didn't go to you, but you tried to kill me time and time again. There's no need for you to stay in this world. Lu Ming said coldly. The memory images continued to flash back and forth. Not long after, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw what he wanted to see, and that was how to find the headquarters of the Death God Nation. The Death God Nation's headquarters was actually an underground city, an ancient underground city. Furthermore, this ancient city wasn't stationary, but moving. After a period of time, it would move to another place. The way to the underground city was also very complicated. They would not be able to find it if they were just one step away. No wonder no one has found the Death God Nation's headquarters for so many years. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with cold killing intent. He also wanted to destroy the Death God Nation's headquarters. All. Suddenly, the man in black let out a loud roar. His entire body twitched and he fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. The restriction placed on his soul spirit has been activated. His soul spirit has been destroyed and his nerves are dead. We can't see his memory anymore. Dandan said. Enough. I've seen everything I wanted to see. Lu Ming said. Bubbles finished her work and sat on Lu Ming's shoulder to circulate her energy to recover. Using time backtrack was very draining on Bubbles. Lu Ming, are you going to deal with the Mu family and the Heng family first or the Death God Nation? Dandan asked. Let's destroy the Mu family and the Heng family first so that we don't alert the enemy. The Death God Nation is in no hurry. They definitely don't know that we've found a way to their headquarters. Lu Ming sneered. Immediately, Lu Ming turned the corpses of the Death God Nation's assassins into ashes and continued on his way to the Heavenly Emperor City. It didn't take long for them to arrive at Heavenly Emperor City. When Lu Ming arrived at the Heng family and the He family, he realized that the two major families had already been deserted. Only a few people with low cultivation levels were left to guard the place. They're walking quite fast. They've probably reached the Mu family. Lu Ming sneered and then his aura burst out. Boom. Lu Ming's aura was like that of a prehistoric beast. His blood and qi were boiling and it was extremely terrifying. The terrifying aura was like a tsunami that pressed down on the Heng family's palace. The remaining members of the Heng family couldn't withstand this pressure. They knelt on the ground in fear as if they were facing a god. Who is that? What a terrifying aura. It's Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. What? Lu Ming, didn't you say that he can't become a great emperor? This aura is simply boundless and unfathomable. I'm afraid Lu Ming has already become a martial emperor. His cultivation is unfathomable. The surrounding people noticed the situation and began to discuss in shock. Obviously, Lu Ming had made some progress in his cultivation and was back to cause trouble for the Heng family. This news spread like a hurricane. In the Heavenly Emperor City, countless figures flew toward the Heng family. The Heng family was surrounded by a tight crowd. Strange. Why isn't anyone from the Heng family coming out? There's not a single strong aura in the Heng family. They're all very weak. Could it be that the Heng family knew that Lu Ming was coming and all the experts in the Heng family have retreated? It's very possible. It looks like the Heng family will be destroyed today. Many people speculated and then became excited. The Heng clan and the He clan were the two strongest forces in the Heavenly Emperor City. They were usually arrogant and domineering with the great emperor in charge. The other forces had to give them face. Now that it was really going to be destroyed, it was simply very satisfying. Everyone in the Heng family, listen up. From now on, the Heng family belongs to me. I'll give you 1 hour. If you don't leave, I'll kill you without mercy. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke, his voice spreading to every corner. They were all weaklings. Lu Ming did not bother to attack them. This was because there were too many of these weak people. There were hundreds of thousands or even millions of them. Lu Ming was not a bloodthirsty person and he would not kill these weaklings. If he wanted to kill, he would kill the strongest group of people. Let's go! The Heng family members did not hesitate. As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, they rushed out of the Heng family. Facing an enemy like Lu Ming, it was impossible for them to resist given their cultivation. If they resisted, they would only be met with death. The higher-ups of the Heng family had already left, so there was no need for them to protect the Heng family with their lives. Not long after, not a single person was left. Dandan, help me set up the formation. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan. All right. Dandan nodded, her figure moved, and she flew out. She waved her hands, and endless runes filled the air. This time, it took 3 days to set up the formation. A huge formation was formed, covering the endless palace of the Heng family. With Dandan's current cultivation, it took her 3 days to set up the formation. Unless the Heavenly Emperor came, no one could break it. Then, Lu Ming entered the small world and discussed with Xiel Wan, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley, and the others about sending people to guard the Heng family. In the end, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master led the Dragon God Valley people to guard the He family. What a dense origin chi! The Cloud Dragon Valley Master and the rest came out of Lu Ming's small world and looked around excitedly. They felt the surrounding essential chi and were extremely excited. The Heavenly Emperor City was the top of the 9 cultivation sanctuaries in the Yuan Mountain. The cultivation environment was many times better than the Tsong region. They were naturally excited. Moreover, the Heng family's territory was wide and open. Although there were many people in Dragon God Valley, they could easily stay there. After the arrangements were made, Lu Ming went to the He residence. The He clan was the same as the Heng clan. All the experts had left, and Lu Ming easily occupied the He clan. He had Dandan set up a great formation, and then Lu Ming released the people of Dragon God Valley, as well as his parents, to live in the He clan. Although there was the path understanding ancient tree in his small world, the original chi of heaven and earth was far less than that of the Heavenly Emperor City. For the time being, the cultivation environment in Heavenly Emperor City was better. Moreover, Lu Ming did not intend to house so many people in his small world. He had encountered many dangers along the way and he did not know what would happen in the future. If he were to encounter danger, the people in his small world would be in danger as well. From now on, the businesses of the Heng family and the He family will be under my name. On this day, Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the Heavenly Emperor City. Chapter 2388. On this day, Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the Heavenly Emperor City. A terrifying aura filled every corner of the city. Great Emperor. It was a powerful aura comparable to a great emperor, which was extremely shocking. Everyone was shocked beyond words. Had Lu Ming reached the great emperor realm after not seeing him for a while? The He clan and the Heng clan have committed many evil deeds. It's really satisfying to get rid of them now. Well, definitely help the great emperor. Someone replied, directly addressing Lu Ming as the great emperor. The businesses left behind by the Heng family and the He family were very astonishing. If he did not intimidate them with his powerful strength, there would probably be people fighting for them. However, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, Xiel Wan, and the others were too weak to compete with these forces in Heavenly Emperor City. Lu Ming could only intimidate them with his powerful strength. With his presence, he believed that these people would not dare to act rashly. It seems like he'll have to send a portion of the Primal Chaos Palace's puppets to guard this place. Lu Ming thought in his heart. The puppets in the Primal Chaos Palace were filled with experts. Other than Earth 1, Gold 1, and the other 9 who were Heaven Emperors, the others were all in the Great Emperor Realm, True Emperor Realm, Void Emperor Realm, Saint Realm, and so on. A few Great Emperor Realm puppets would be enough. Lu Ming stayed in the Heavenly Emperor City for a few days. When the situation here was more or less stabilized, Lu Ming made a trip to the ancient Sun's sacred land. Like the Heng family and the He family, the Daoist Heaven sect's higher-ups had all left, leaving only some weak ones to guard the sect. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Wushuang's family to occupy the Daoist Heaven sect's territory. Hung family, he family, Daoist heaven sect. Do you think I can't do anything to you if you hide in the Mu family? Just in time, well, wipe them out in one go. Lu Ming sneered, his eyes flashing with killing intent. He stayed in Heavenly Emperor City for a period of time and left behind a large amount of resources. Then he left Heavenly Emperor City and headed towards the land of divine destiny. However, there was one more person in this line, and that was Qiuyu. He and Qiuyu had not seen each other for many years, and Qiuyu had missed him a lot. Now that they had met again, she naturally couldn't bear to part. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, the journey was smooth. He crossed the Ring Sea and entered the divine fated land. Lu Ming did not stop and headed straight for Aeon City. The Mu family was one of the most powerful forces in Aeon City. After Lu Ming, Qiuyu, Bubbles, and Dandan entered Aeon City, they did not make a move immediately. Instead, they found a place to stay. However, Lu Ming did not hide his identity. His purpose was to alert the Mu family and gather all the experts of the Mu family. Then he would wipe them out in one go to save himself the trouble. Qiuyu, let's go out for a walk. Lu Ming said to Qiuyu. All right. Qiuyu was all smiles. She pulled Lu Ming's hand and walked out. The two of them strolled around Aeon City and later, they strolled into a huge market. This place was Aeon City's largest market. There were all kinds of treasures inside that dazzled one's eyes. Back then, before the Battle of the Ten Lands, Lu Ming had been to Aeon City. However, due to the pressure of the Battle of the Ten Lands, Lu Ming had not strolled around to his heart's content. It was his first time coming to this market. Qiuyu, if there's anything you want, just say it. Lu Ming smiled. All right. Qiuyu blinked her big eyes a few times and then started to look around. After that, they walked into a divine weapon shop that sold all kinds of combat weapons, such as saint weapons, illusionarve emperor weapons, and true emperor weapons. Young master, I want that. Qiuyu pointed at a hairpin after looking at it for a while. This hairpin was made from a special jade and looked very exquisite. This lady has good eyes. This hairpin is made of 10,000-year-old warm jade. When worn, not only can it beautify one's face, it is also helpful for cultivation and comprehension of nomological laws. It is a top-notch illusionary sovereign weapon. A tall and thin middle-aged man said with a smile. How many raw gemstones? I want them. Lu Ming said. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones. The tall and thin middle-aged man smiled. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones? That's too expensive. Young master, I don't want it anymore. Qiuyu was shocked when she heard that. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones were the highest grade of raw stones. Even the great emperor and the heavenly monarch used them for cultivation, so it was clear how precious they were. 5,000 yuan was indeed not a low price. However, to Lu Ming, 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones were just a drop in the ocean. Silly girl, since you've taken a fancy to it, I'll buy it no matter how expensive it is. Lu Ming smiled and waved his hand. A storage ring appeared and he threw it to the tall and thin middle-aged man. Shopkeeper, 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones. The tall and thin middle-aged man took it and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He smiled and then passed the hairpin to Lu Ming. Lu Ming had just received the hairpin when a voice was heard. Wait a minute, I want this hairpin. As the voice rang out, a group of people walked over. The leader of the group was a young woman. She was very beautiful, but she was not as beautiful as Qiuyu. Behind the young woman was a young woman dressed as a maidservant and two old men. The shopkeeper's expression changed when he saw the woman. He then smiled apologetically and said, So it's Miss Dongfang. It's an honor to have you visit our shop. Shopkeeper, sell me that hairpin. The young woman spoke directly with a commanding tone. Miss Dongfang, you're too late. This hairpin has already been bought by this young master. The shopkeeper smiled wryly. What? The young woman hummed coldly and looked at Lu Ming with a faint arrogance. She raised her neck and continued to speak in a commanding tone. Give me this hairpin. I'll give you how many raw stones you need. I'm sorry, this hairpin is not for sale. Lu Ming smiled. You're not selling? The young woman's eyes narrowed, and a look of displeasure flashed across her face. You want to raise the raw gemstones, right? Tell me, how many raw gemstones do you want? I said I'm not selling. I'm not short of raw stones. Lu Ming said. Kid, what did you say? You probably don't know who my young miss is, right? My young miss is Dongfang Shuiyu, the #1 heaven's pride in the divine fated land, and Xian Lin's fiancée. Do you know her? The maidservant behind the young lady jumped out and chided, looking at Lu Ming threateningly. The #1 genius of the divine land? Lu Ming muttered. It seemed that Tian Ming, Yuan Exin, and the others had been in the heaven realm for decades. A new batch of heaven's favorites had appeared in the land of divine destiny. Are you afraid now? Let me tell you, young Master Xian Lin is the young master of Aeon City's powerful force, the Xian family. If you don't think that you are worthy of my praise today, don't even think about walking out of Aeon City. That servant girl continued to clamor. As for the young woman, Dongfang Shuiyu, she revealed a proud expression. Xian Lin, Dongfang Shuiyu, I've never heard of you. You can get lost now. Lu Ming said in a serious tone. He then turned around and walked toward Qiuyu. Qiu, I'll help you put it on. Lu Ming smiled gently and then put the hairpin on Qiuyu's head. Chapter 2389. Chapter 2389. Challenging Lu Ming. Qiuyu was already extraordinary, and with the hairpin, she looked even more beautiful. Coupled with the blush on her cheeks, she was even more moving. Dongfang Shuiyu, on the other hand, was trembling with anger. Lu Ming actually told her to get lost? Who is she? She was the pride of her generation, and her fiancé was the #1 pride of the divine land. Lu Ming actually told her to get lost? He was looking for death, he was looking for death. Dongfang Shuiyu roared in her heart. Especially after seeing Qiuyu's beauty, her jealousy grew to the point of madness. Women were naturally jealous. As for Dongfang Shuiyu, she had always been proud of her beauty. But now, when she was compared to Qiuyu, she was completely overshadowed. You dare to wear my hairpin? I'll tear your face apart. Dongfang Shuiyu let out a shrill cry and her body shot out like a bolt of lightning towards Qiuyu. Her claws were like blades as she slashed towards Qiuyu's face. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted coldly and slapped him. Lu Ming's speed was so fast that Dongfang Shuiyu could not dodge at all. She was directly slapped in the face by Lu Ming. But a crisp sound rang out and Dongfang Shuiyu screamed out in pain. Her body flew out and fell to the ground, her face swollen. Of course, Lu Ming had shown mercy. Otherwise, she would not even leave behind ashes. Dongfang Shuiyu was dumbfounded, and so were the others in the shop. Lu Ming actually dared to slap Dongfang Shuiyu. Did he not want to live? Kill him, kill this bastard. Dongfang Shuiyu was stunned for a moment before she reacted and screamed. Brat, you're looking for death. Kneel down and admit your mistake immediately. There were 2 elders who had followed Dongfang Shuiyu. At this moment, one of them let out a loud shout and pounced towards Lu Ming. A terrifying aura burst out with a loud bang, and a powerful pressure pressed towards Lu Ming. At the side, the others retreated. A martial supreme. This old man was a martial emperor, but he was only a 1-star void emperor, which was the weakest martial emperor. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted coldly and kicked the other party's face at lightning speed. The old man let out a blood-curdling screech and was sent flying, following in Dongfang Shuiyu's footsteps. His face was now as swollen as a pig's head. So strong. Everyone was shocked. To be able to defeat a 1-star great emperor with a single move. This kind of battle prowess was extraordinary. Moreover, Lu Ming did not look very old. There were not many people in the entire Divine Destiny land who could reach the martial emperor realm at this age. Get lost. If you don't get lost, kill? Lu Ming shouted coldly, his cold killing intent exuding. Lu Ming, he's Lu Ming. Suddenly, someone on the side shouted. Back then, Lu Ming had won first place in the Battle of the Ten Lands and his reputation was well known. Many people had seen Lu Ming before and now he was finally recognized. What? Lu Ming? Which Lu Ming? Of course, it's the Lu Ming who dominated the first Battle of the Ten Lands and won first place. It's him. He's been missing for decades. I didn't expect to see him again. All of a sudden, the people around them started to discuss and size up this legendary figure curiously. Lu Ming's reputation was very well known. As long as one's cultivation was higher, they would have heard of the divine land. The first Battle of the Ten Lands was top. He was extremely talented but he couldn't become an emperor. So you're Lu Ming, a useless body that can never become an emperor. How dare you hit me? Don't leave if you're so capable. It'll tear you into 1,000 pieces. At this moment, Dongfang Shuiyu screamed again. Oh, is that so? I'd like to see how you're going to dismember my body into 1,000 pieces. I'll wait for you here. Lu Ming said and sat down on a chair at the side. You useless body trash, just you wait. Dongfang Shuiyu let out a few shrieks and hurriedly left with her men. Young Master Lu, you'd better leave quickly. Dongfang Shuiyu will definitely go to the Xian family to look for Xian Lin. The Xian family is one of the strongest forces in Aeon City and their strength is unfathomable. The shopkeeper hurriedly warned. It's fine. Lu Ming smiled. It's good that the matter is blown up so that the Mu clan can make proper preparations. Lu Ming wanted to give the other party time to prepare. Seeing that he couldn't persuade him, the shopkeeper shook his head and retreated. Lu Ming and Qiu Yu started to wait leisurely. The news here quickly spread. The champion of the Ten Lands battle, Lu Ming, had reappeared. Furthermore, he had even slapped Dongfang Shuiyu in public. This was no small matter. Dongfang Shuiyu's fiancé was the #1 genius of the Divine Land. Would the two of them clash? Moreover, the Xian family would not let the matter rest. How should Lu Ming deal with this? Immediately, countless people who had heard the news rushed over and surrounded the shop to take a look. Xian Lin is here. Lu Ming did not have to wait long before he heard a cry of surprise from outside. A group of people walked through the air. The leader was a young man. He was very handsome and wore a black iron battle suit. He looked very mighty. This man was the #1 genius in the divine fated land, Xian Lin. Dongfang Shuiyu was right beside Xian Lin. At this moment, her face had already swollen and was covered in tears. She looked as if she had suffered a great injustice. There were some people behind them, all of whom were experts from the Xian family. Lu Ming, get out here. Xian Lin came to the door of the shop and shouted. A 3-star illusionary emperor about 50 years old, far younger than Tian Ming and the others. Lu Ming did not go out. With a sweep of his spiritual senses, he knew Xian Lin's cultivation and age. A 3-star illusionary emperor at the age of 50 was indeed far inferior to Tianming Yuan Xan and the others. Qiu Yu, let's go and meet this #1 genius. Lu Ming smiled and walked out of the shop with Qiu Yu. All of a sudden, everyone's eyes were on Lu Ming. Lu Ming. Xian Lin's gaze also fell on Lu Ming. How do you want to solve this? Lu Ming looked at Xian Lin. Fight me. Xian Lin stepped out and his voice spread far and wide, revealing a strong battle intent. Many people's eyes lit up. Xian Lin wanted to challenge Lu Ming. One was the current #1 Heaven's favorite, while the other was the #1 Heaven's favorite from decades ago. Who was the stronger one between the two? Who do you think is stronger, Lu Ming or Xian Lin? It's hard to say, but I think it's Xian Lin. Lu Ming can't become a great emperor. His cultivation is stuck at the quasi-great emperor realm for his entire life. No matter how long it has been, it's difficult for him to improve. According to Lu Ming's strength back then, he's not Xian Lin's match. Yes, I think so too. Many people were discussing and felt that Lu Ming was not Xian Lin's match. The Celestial the Arch had personally said that Lu Ming could not become a martial emperor. There was no mistake about this. Although Lu Ming was strong in the past, he could only fight with a 2-star illusionary emperor. On the other hand, Xian Lin's cultivation was at the 3-star illusionary emperor level. The law he controlled was also an ultimate law. His combat strength was extremely powerful, and it was not a problem for him to suppress Lu Ming in the past. This was a collision between the strongest geniuses of 2 generations. In the past, there was no comparison. It was because Lu Ming could not break through in his cultivation that this happened. Chapter 2390, Scaring Off a Great Emperor. Fight me? I don't want to be a bully. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. Xian Lin's cultivation base was not worth mentioning in his eyes. Lu Ming, you don't dare to fight, do you? Xian Lin stepped out in an overbearing manner. Back in the Battle of the 10 Lands, he was still young and his cultivation was not high enough. He could not compete with Lu Ming and the others, which was a regret. He was very ambitious. He wanted to defeat Lu Ming to prove that he could also become the #1 prodigy in the world if he were in that era. If you want to fight, then I'll fight with you. Lu Ming, are you going to hide behind a woman? You're indeed a cripple, a piece of trash. You actually won RHE title of world champion in the first battle of the 10 Lands. What a joke. Attack, I'll defeat you in 10 moves. Xian Lin shouted coldly and continued to step forward. His powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming. Finally, he punched out and a giant turtle as large as a mountain was formed. It pressed down on Lu Ming. If you want to fight, then I'll play with you. Let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently. He took a step forward and rushed toward the Xian forest. Boom. Lu Ming didn't make a move. His figure rushed past and the giant tortoise that Xian Lin attacked exploded. Lu Ming's figure didn't stop and appeared in front of Xian Lin in an instant. The two of them were less than a meter apart. Xian Lin's pupils contracted rapidly as he roared in fear and retreated frantically. However, he suddenly realized that he couldn't move his body. He couldn't move at all. The space around him seemed to have been frozen. Lu Ming stretched out a hand and clasped Xian Lin's throat. Everyone at the scene couldn't help but widen their eyes. What was going on? He did not see Lu Ming make a move and there was no powerful aura permeating the air. How did Lu Ming grab Xian Lin's throat? It was as if Xian Lin had been waiting there motionlessly for Lu Ming to do it. No one could figure it out. You want to challenge me with your strength? Lu Ming spoke indifferently, his voice full of disdain. Xian Lin struggled madly, and his eyes were filled with fear. Get lost. Lu Ming swung his arm and Xian Lin's body directly smashed into the ground. With a loud bang, a huge pit appeared on the ground. Xian Lin lay in the pit and spat out a large mouthful of blood. The others were dumbfounded. One move, no, Lu Ming did not even make an official move, and Xian Lin was defeated. He could not even withstand one blow. Wasn't Lu Ming unable to become a martial emperor? Why did he have such strong combat abilities? Could it be that Lu Ming had already become a martial emperor? Thinking of this, many people's hearts beat wildly. Lu Ming, who was below the rank of a martial supreme, had mastered many types of laws and even different ultimate laws. He was really going against the heavens. The Celestial the Arch had asserted that Lu Ming would not be able to break through and become a martial emperor for his entire life. However, if Lu Ming could create a miracle and defy the heavens to become a divine emperor, how powerful would his combat strength be? Lu Ming, I want you dead. Kill him. Kill him. Below, Xian Lin shouted hysterically. As the #1 genius of the divine land, he had never lost a battle against his peers. He had never known what defeat felt like. Earlier, he had come in a domineering manner and said that he would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves. However, he was easily defeated by Lu Ming now and could not even withstand a single blow. He could not accept such an outcome at all. He was so mad with hatred that he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. The flowers in our greenhouse can't stand the wind and waves. Lu Ming shook his head, showing a strong sense of disdain. It seemed that Lu Ming's generation was the true golden generation. There were many geniuses and they competed with each other. Many of them were very intelligent and had experienced many storms. As for this generation, it seemed like there were a lot fewer geniuses. This Xian Lin's path had been too smooth. Although his talent was not bad, his mind was not good. He was far inferior to Ming and the others. The moment he met with failure, the moment he met with a setback, he immediately couldn't take it. He couldn't bear it. Kill him. Xian Lin roared. Lu Ming's words pierced his heart. Lu Ming, kneel down and accept your death. The few people who had followed Xian Lin here charged at Lu Ming, exuding a terrifying aura. True Emperor. 3 of them were true Emperor realm experts. They were surrounded by world divine light and looked like gods. Kneel down. The terrifying pressure of the true Emperor realm pressed down on Lu Ming, trying to force him to his knees. Bet your sister. All of you get lost. Lu Ming shouted and threw a punch. The air exploded and the terrifying fist force rushed toward the 3 true emperors. The 3 true emperors were almost scared to death when they felt Lu Ming's terrifying fist force. That level of power was not what they could contend with at all. It was too late for them to retreat. Boom. As the fist force crushed over, the 3 people's bodies exploded and turned into flying flames. The scene suddenly quieted down. There was no sound at all. Everyone's eyes were wide open in disbelief. 3 true emperors. That was 3 true emperors. They were actually turned into ashes by Lu Ming with one punch. How was this possible? How could Lu Ming's combat strength be so powerful? Dongfang Shuiyu stood there in a daze, her little mouth slightly open, as if she was in a dream. Xian Lin was also stunned. His eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. They'll send you on your way. Lu Ming looked at Xian Lin and stomped his foot. A huge foot condensed by the power of the world stomped down on Xian Lin. Ah! Xian Lin was so frightened that he kept screaming. At this moment, a figure flashed as fast as lightning and swept Xian Lin away before Lu Ming's huge foot could land. There was a flash in our sky in the distance, and an old man with white hair and a white robe appeared. He was holding on to Xian Lin, who was still in shock. Great Emperor! Lu Ming muttered. It's one of the elders of the Xian family, a great emperor. The great emperor of the Xian family has appeared. I guess he's going to deal with Lu Ming. Lu Ming is still too impulsive. The Xian family is one of the strongest forces in Aeon City. They are unfathomable. Let's see how Lu Ming will deal with the great emperor. Some people recognized the old man. After Xian Lin reacted, he was overjoyed. Founding Elder, you're here just in time. Kill Lu Ming for me. Kill that be *starred. Xian Lin shouted. Today, Lu Ming had embarrassed him. He must kill Lu Ming to vent the hatred in his heart. The elder of the Xian family exuded a powerful aura. It was the pressure of a great emperor. Within a radius of 10,000 miles, it was filled with a terrifying pressure. Some of the weaker cultivators had to kneel down. Ordinary people were too weak to fight against great emperors. It seems like you want to die too. To everyone's surprise, Lu Ming's expression was calm and he spoke indifferently. He was actually threatening the great emperor. Everyone was dumbfounded. They had thought that Lu Ming would be afraid and terrified when he faced the great emperor and would run away. He did not expect Lu Ming to threaten the great emperor. Lu Ming's eyes flickered with a cold glint as he swept a glance at the other party. The elder's heart started to beat wildly as if he was being stared at by a terrifying prehistoric beast. In the next moment, he was going to be torn apart and killed. This feeling shocked him greatly. What's going on? What a terrifying feeling. Could it be that Lu Ming's abilities are already far above mine? No, he'll retreat today. The Xian family elder's mind turned quickly, he didn't dare to make a move. Chapter 2391, Killing Their Way into the Mu Family, Retreat. The elder of the Xian family bellowed as his power swept Xian Lin and the dumbfounded Dongfang Shuiyu backward. In an instant, they disappeared. They retreated? All the onlookers were dumbfounded. They thought that the elder of the Xian family would make a move. They didn't expect him to retreat. Why would the elder of the Xian family retreat? They were afraid of Lu Ming and did not dare to take action? That's impossible, right? No one could figure it out. Lu Ming did not pursue him. His purpose in Aeon City was not the Xian family, but the Mu family. If the Xian family didn't want to die, he wouldn't care. The Mu family should have gathered all their forces this time. I hope the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect are also here. I didn't come here in vain. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the Mu family and chuckled. In the crowd, some people's eyes flickered, and then they left the place. These people were naturally the Mu clan. Following that, Lu Ming and Qiu Yu strolled around for a while before returning to their residence. The news of Lu Ming's return, how he defeated Xian Lin with one move, how he killed 3 true emperors with one punch, and how he even scared off one of the Xian family's great emperors spread rapidly. Not only did it spread throughout Aeon City, but it also spread throughout the Divine Mandate land, shocking countless people who heard the news. Lu Ming had broken through. Many people knew that Lu Ming had already broken through to the martial emperor realm. The celestial thearch's claim had been shattered. Would the Xian family make a move on Lu Ming next? Many people were guessing. Lu Ming's residence naturally attracted more attention. Many people were constantly paying attention to Lu Ming's residence and the progress of the situation. There were even many people who had rushed over from other places. In the meeting hall of the Xian family, a group of people were discussing something. These were the higher-ups of the Xian family. Most of them were great emperor realm experts. We must kill Lu Ming. Elders, please help. Xian Lin shouted. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with malevolent killing intent. During this period of time, the news that he was easily defeated by Lu Ming spread like wildfire. His reputation had plummeted and was no longer what it used to be. He hated Lu Ming to the core and could not wait to grind his bones and scatter his ashes. I also feel that we should kill Lu Ming. Someone else said. Ninth brother, tell us why you retreated. At the head of the table was an extremely old man. At this moment he was looking at the elder who had saved Xian Lin. The elder from before was one of the 9 elders of the Xian family. The 9 elders frowned and pondered for a while before saying, I can sense a terrifying aura from Lu Ming. I have a feeling that if I attack, I will die in his hands. What? The others were shocked, and Xian Lin's eyes widened in disbelief. How is that possible? Could Lu Ming be a threat to the emperor? Even if he has broken through to the martial emperor realm, it's impossible for him to break through to the great emperor realm so quickly. Impossible. Xian Lin couldn't accept this and shook his head. Could it be that Lu Ming has really reached such a shocking level? The other doyens all muttered, their gazes solemn. The higher one's cultivation was, the more accurate one's intuition would be. A great emperor's intuition would usually not be wrong. We can't measure Lu Ming with common sense. Once he breaks through to the martial supreme realm, he'll be like a dragon in the sea. There will be no restraints. It's not impossible for him to have the combat strength of a great emperor. I suggest that we do not attack Lu Ming for the time being. We should observe the situation first. The oldest elder said. I agree. I also agree. The other elders nodded. Although the remaining doyens and Xian Lin wanted to attack, most of the doyens didn't agree to do so, so they had no choice. Time flew by and 5 days passed. Lu Ming's residence. Brother Lu Ming, I've found out that the people from the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect are all in the Mu family. Also, almost all the great emperors of the Mu family have returned to the Mu family headquarters. They seem to be on guard. Bubbles conveyed some information to Lu Ming. In the past few days, Bubbles and Dandan had gone out to investigate the Mu family and finally had some results. Lu Ming arrived at Aeon City. Needless to say, the 2 groups of assassins from the Death God Nation had already failed. Lu Ming's abilities shocked the Mu family. It was natural for them to gather experts to deal with the Mu family. It's time. The Mu family, the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect will all be destroyed today. Lu Ming said coldly. He then strode toward the Mu family. Lu Ming's actions naturally alerted those who were paying attention to him. Where is Lu Ming going? His body is full of killing intent. Is he going to kill his way to the Xian family? That's impossible, right? No, this direction is not the Xian family. In the dark, many people were discussing animatedly and secretly following behind Lu Ming. Not long after, mountains and countless palaces appeared in front of them. This was the Mu clan. Boom. Lu Ming suddenly took a step forward. In the sky, endless energy gathered and formed a giant foot that covered the sky. It stomped down on the Mu family headquarters. The mountains trembled under the giant foot. Lu Ming actually wanted to attack the Mu family? All the people who had followed him were dumbfounded and shocked. The Mu family was even stronger than the Xian family. What shocked them even more was Lu Ming's strength. That kick was like the kick of a god. It was unbelievably powerful. Great Emperor. This was the strength of a great emperor. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. Lu Ming actually had the strength of a great emperor. No wonder the patriarch of the Xian family had retreated. Figures flew out of the Mu family's palace. They were terrified by the giant foot and flew everywhere. Impudent. A long howl came from the Mu family. A huge palm flew out from the Mu family and turned into a huge palm that reached the sky, clashing with Lu Ming's huge foot. Boom. The mountains trembled and the void collapsed. A terrifying force swept in all directions. The giant foot and hand disappeared together. A middle-aged man appeared in the sky above the Mu family. His aura was extremely terrifying. The Mu family's head. In the distance, someone muttered as he recognized this person. Oh my god, the Mu family's master is said to be a 3-star great emperor. He only managed to block one of Lu Ming's attacks just now, and Lu Ming has already become so powerful. Quick, spread the news. Something big has happened. Lu Ming is going to attack the Mu family. Hurry up. Many people were discussing in shock, and the news spread out one by one. Aeon City immediately exploded, and countless people rushed toward the Mu family. When the Xian family received the news, they were also dumbfounded. They then sent experts to the Mu family to pay attention to the development of the situation. After the Mu family had appeared, more and more figures rushed out from the depths of the Mu family. Each of these figures exuded a vast and endless aura. The pressure of the Great Path filled the world. These were all Great Emperor Realm experts. There were more than 20 of them. The Mu family had more than 20 great emperors. Chapter 2392, Shocking Move. More than 20 great emperors from the Mu family stood in a line. Their auras were as vast as the ocean, filling the entire Aeon City with a terrifying pressure. This lineup made the surrounding onlookers' faces change and their hearts tremble. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm as if he didn't see so many great emperors. His gaze swept across the Mu family and he frowned. There's no need to hide anymore. Those families come out. The families he was talking about were the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect. However, the Mu family master sneered and did not answer Lu Ming's question. Instead, he asked, Lu Ming, you attacked the Mu family for no reason today. Do you really think that the Mu family is easy to bully? If you don't give me an explanation today, don't even think about leaving. Don't you know why I'm here? You, the Mu family, the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist Heaven sect hired people from the Death God Nation to kill me. It's time to settle the score today. Lu Ming's voice was heard by everyone. What? The Mu family had hired people from the Death God Nation to kill Lu Ming? Is that true? It's very possible. Back then, Lu Ming killed the Mu family's most powerful genius, Mu Yang. This is a blood feud. How could the Mu family let this matter rest? Indeed. I'm afraid it's true. Otherwise, Lu Ming wouldn't have come to the Mu family. Lu Ming is really bold to come to the Mu family on his own. What do you think will be the result today? It's hard to say. If Lu Ming wasn't confident, he wouldn't have dared to come here. However, the Mu family has been around for countless years and their foundation is unfathomable. The outcome can't be predicted. Lu Ming's words caused an uproar. Many people were discussing it. Nonsense. If the Mu family wants to kill you, we don't need to hire people from the Death God Nation. Any one of them can kill you. The head of the Mu family sneered. Anyone can kill me? Then I'd like to see if your Mu family has the ability to do so. Lu Ming sneered. Then, he stepped out and headed toward the Mu family. Bang, bang. With every step Lu Ming took, the void trembled and rays of light shone from his body. It was the radiance of the laws. All sorts of laws appeared. When more than 10 laws appeared, the scene was deathly silent. Everyone was tongue-tied and their eyes almost popped out. Heavens, what did the heavens just see? Chaos law, death law, life law, and reincarnation law. He has mastered 4 supreme laws. No, that's not right. There are also eternal laws, void laws, primordial chaos laws, and space-time laws. 8. He controls 8 supreme laws. There are still 9 kinds of king path laws and 17 kinds of laws. He has mastered 17 kinds of laws. Furthermore, he has cultivated all 17 types of nomological laws to the limit and reached the 3rd realm. How is this possible? How is this possible? He's abnormal. He's abnormal. When they saw Lu Ming displaying all the laws, everyone in all directions screamed hysterically, unable to control their emotions. This could no longer be described as shock. Their emotions were 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times stronger than shock. The truth of cultivation was that a person could only master one type of ultimate law at most. Not everyone could master an ultimate law. Those who could master one were the top geniuses in the world. But now, there was a person who had not only mastered an ultimate maxim, but it was not just 1, 2, or 3, but 8. This was not only breaking the truth, but also trampling the truth to pieces. It was easy to imagine the feelings of everyone. The people of the Mu family were also dumbfounded. Their eyes were wide open and they were horrified. In the depths of the Mu family, the masters of the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist heaven sect, who were hiding in the dark, were almost scared to death when they saw this. Lu Ming was shrouded in 17 different lights. He stood in the air like a god who had descended to the mortal world. He was extraordinary. Come, let's see which one of you can kill me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he stared at the people of the Mu family. So what if you can control 17 types of laws? You're still only in the true emperor realm. I'll kill you. From the Mu family, a burly old man stepped out, like a lion. This old man's cultivation had reached the 3-star great emperor realm. In the end, the Mu family did not dare to underestimate Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming seemed to be at the true emperor realm, he had mastered 17 types of laws. Most importantly, he had 8 ultimate laws. With so many laws combined, Lu Ming's combat strength could not be measured with common sense. It was possible that he could fight a 1-star great emperor or even a 2-star great emperor. However, they had sent out a 3-star great emperor. The difference between a true emperor and a 3-star great emperor was too great. They did not believe that Lu Ming could kill a 3-star great emperor. Even if a 3-star great emperor was no match for him, he could at least keep his life and test Lu Ming's true combat strength. Bang, bang. The elder, who was as strong as a lion, had a wild aura. He stepped in the air and his speed increased as he charged toward Lu Ming. Slash. All of a sudden, a saber appeared in the elder's hand and he slashed it at Lu Ming. The saber light was shocking and lit up the sky as if it was going to split Aeon City's sky in half. Kill! Lu Ming said indifferently. Before he could finish his sentence, a long spear appeared in his hand. It was a long spear condensed by the law and the power of the world. The muscles on Lu Ming's arms bulged and he threw the long spear out. The long spear flew out like a ray of light, faster than lightning. The long spear not only contained the power of Lu Ming's world force, the power of the law, but also the power of his physical body. The moment the spear collided with the saber light was destroyed. The speed of the spear did not decrease at all, and it continued to stab toward the opponent. The Mu family's 3-star great emperor did not expect that his all-out attack would be so vulnerable in Lu Ming's hands. He was stunned for a moment. His fate had been decided. Lu Ming's long spear pierced through his dantian and destroyed his small world. He flew out with his body and into the depths of the Mu clan, crashing into a hall. Boom! The palace exploded, and a large group of people flew out from it. These people were from the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist heaven sect. The Mu clan's 3-star great emperor was impaled by Lu Ming's spear and nailed to the ground, screaming in pain. My cultivation base, my cultivation base. A shrill scream reverberated through the entire area. Gasps could be heard in the audience. A 3-star great emperor was pinned to the ground by Lu Ming with one move and his cultivation was crippled. This scene was too impactful. A 3-star great emperor couldn't even withstand one blow. How was this possible? Had Lu Ming's combat strength already reached such a terrifying level? Everyone felt like they were in a dream. In the crowd far away, there were also people from the Xian family watching. There were a few elders, including Wang Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu. At this moment, they were completely petrified and kept gasping. How is that possible? How is that possible? Wang Lin seemed to be in a daze as he kept muttering. He had crippled a 3-star great emperor with one move. Such strength was. Chapter 2393, Massacre. The people from the Heng family, the He family, and the Daoist heaven sect are here. Lu Ming looked at the people from the Heng family and the He family, the corners of his lips curling into a cold smile. The people of the Mu family, Heng family, He family, and Daoist heaven sect all looked extremely shocked. Lu Ming, you destroyed the cultivation of the Mu family's emperor for no reason. Today you must pay the price. Mu clan emperor roared. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, more than 20 great emperors of the Mu family attacked at the same time. There were 1-star great emperors and 5-star great emperors. When they attacked together, the void collapsed instantly, and terrifying attacks were launched toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's combat strength was far beyond their imagination. They were terrified. They wanted to kill Lu Ming in an instant and make him disappear without a trace. Buzz. Lu Ming's muscles vibrated suddenly, vibrating billions of times in an instant. The void shattered and Lu Ming's figure burst out. The moment Lu Ming charged out, he used the 6-feathered divine wings to increase his speed. In an instant, he dodged the joint attack of his opponents and rushed toward the 20-odd great emperors of the Mu family. Gather, gather. The master of the Mu family roared. More than 20 great emperors of the Mu family gathered together in a circle. This way, they could prevent Lu Ming from breaking them one by one. Is there any use in joining hands? Lu Ming's cold voice was heard and a long spear appeared in his hand again. However, this long spear was not condensed by Lu Ming's law. It was a real long spear. Great Desolation Spear. Heaven Dao soldiers. Although Lu Ming could not unleash the power of the Heaven's Path in the Heaven Dao soldier, the Great Desolation Spear's material was sturdy and immortal. It allowed Lu Ming to unleash all his strength and also increased his combat strength. Boom! Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear and unleashed his power to the extreme, sweeping the spear out. The sky exploded continuously as the Great Desolation Spear swept up endless void storms and blasted towards the 20-odd great emperors of the Mu clan. It was so powerful that it looked like it was going to crush all the great emperors of the Mu clan. Let's join hands. The master of the Mu family roared. All the emperors of the Mu family joined forces and launched attacks at Lu Ming. Among the more than 20 great emperors of the Mu family, there were quite a few 5-star great emperors with astonishing strength. With so many people working together, they could definitely fight against a 6-star great emperor. Boom! Their attacks collided with Lu Ming's long spear, resulting in a terrifying boom and a shockwave that swept in all directions. Retreat, retreat! The spectators all retreated in a frenzy to create enough distance. Most of the people who were watching the battle did not have the cultivation of a great emperor. They did not dare to get too close. Otherwise, if they were swept up by Lu Ming and the others, they would only be dead. After the boom, Lu Ming's body trembled and he retreated. However, the more than 20 powerhouses of the Mu family were also forced to retreat. Those with weaker cultivations even trembled and spat out blood. They were severely injured. Lu Ming's current combat strength, physical body, world energy, law energy, and the Great Desolation Spear were enough to compete with a 6-star Great Emperor. How could those 1-star and 2-star Great Emperors withstand a head-on collision? Again! Lu Ming took a few steps back and stomped on the void to stabilize his body. He held the Great Desolation Spear and once again charged at the Mu clan emperor. Boom! This time, Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear with both hands and smashed it down with the force of Mount Tai. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear rapidly grew in size and became as heavy as a mountain, as if it could crush everything. More than 20 great emperors from the Mu family roared and used their strongest power to attack the Great Desolation Spear. The attacks from both sides collided once again. Buzz! The Great Desolation Spear trembled continuously before it was sent flying. However, the people of the Mu family were in an even worse state. A few 1-star great emperors were shaken, and their bodies were cracked by the terrifying backlash. They were covered in blood, and their auras were weak. They no longer had the strength to fight. "You guys recuperate first." The head of the Mu family roared. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's third move arrived. The Mu family's 2-star great emperor was also shaken by this collision, and he was almost killed. Again! Lu Ming was like a martial emperor god of war. His attacks were like a storm. The number of Mu family's great emperors decreased and they were no match for Lu Ming. In the end, they were at a disadvantage every time they clashed. In the end, even 3- and 4-star great sovereigns started to get injured, and 5-star great sovereigns' faces were pale and they were gasping for breath. The hearts of the people watching the battle were in a state of shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. He completely suppressed the Mu family. Was the Mu clan going to be destroyed today? In the depths of the Mu family, the emperors from the Heng family, the He family, and the Tian Luo family were even paler. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. It was hard to believe that Lu Ming's combat strength had reached such a level. With his current combat strength, he could kill them in a second with one move. How did this happen? They roared in their hearts, unable to accept this fact. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming kept attacking, and his attacks became more and more violent. In the end, even the Mu clan's 5-star great emperor was injured. He was no match for Lu Ming. Kill! Suddenly, Lu Ming's attack changed. He bypassed the 5-star's great emperor and shook the Great Desolation Spear. In an instant he shot out dozens of spear lights. His target was the low-ranked great emperors. Not good, he blocked it. The advanced emperors of the Mu family were shocked. They used all their strength to block Lu Ming's attack. But no matter how hard they tried, they only managed to block half of the spear light. The rest of the spear light continued toward the low-tier emperors. The low-level great emperors, especially the 1- and 2-star great emperors, tried their best to resist, but it was to no avail. The 1-star and 2-star great emperors' foreheads were pierced through by the spear light, and their souls were destroyed. He was dead. The 1-star and 2-star great emperors of the Mu family were all killed in an instant, and 8 of them were dead. The 8 great emperors were annihilated in an instant. This shocked everyone, but at the same time, it also made the Mu clan furious and filled them with killing intent. Lu Ming, I want you to die without a burial ground. The Mu family's head roared. His eyes were blood red, and his face was ferocious. 8 great sovereigns, what a great loss this was. His heart was bleeding. The Mu family had been around for countless years, and they had only managed to accumulate so many great emperors over time. But now 8 of them had died. This was a loss that was hard to bear. Now you know how painful it is. If you had known this would happen, you wouldn't have thought of this day when the Mu family wanted to kill me. At this moment, it's impossible that you're the only ones killing others in this world, and others won't come to kill you. Lu Ming said coldly. He did not have the slightest bit of pity or sympathy. He and the Mu family were mortal enemies. Either he died or he died. One side had to be destroyed. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.